This is the Discover Card Countdown to Green as we get ready to go racing.
Kansas City, Kansas, a city famous for its barbecue, where the fans are famous for their tailgating. Today, those two pastimes come together with the newest Kansas City tradition, NASCAR. The fourth trip to the Kansas Speedway is the fourth race in the chase for the Nextel Cup. A rare midweek pass has Kurt Busch in the point lead. But with 7 races remaining, all eyes and ears are on number 8.
Junior, just calm down, baby. We're all right. We're going to win this race.
Maybe winning is just the beginning.
The legacy continues.
Dale Earnhardt Jr.'s drive for the championship took off with his win in the Daytona 500 and picked up speed last Sunday with his 5th Talladega Triumph, while some championship contenders have lost their place in the chase.
Trouble, crash. And the 19, Jeremy Mayfield.
I think this does take him out of the chase for the Nextel Cup in 2004.
At the top, excitement, enthusiasm, experience, energy, and expectations. But it doesn't take much to turn things upside down.
Elliott Sadler
On his route to the finish. Now the question is, who will still be standing after Kansas? NBC Sports presents the Banquet 400 for the NASCAR Nextel Cup Series. With 7 races remaining in the championship chase, the top 7 drivers are separated by less than 150 points. Today, a star-studded field faces 400 miles at Kansas. Hi, everybody. The NBC Race family welcomes you to Kansas City. I'm Bill Weber. Right off the top, we are in the hurry-up. Rain is forecast for later this afternoon. The green flag will fly here at about 2:03 Eastern Time. That's roughly about 30 minutes from right now. This is the 4th race here at the Kansas Speedway. Jeff Gordon won the first 2. Ryan Newman is the defending champion this afternoon. A week ago today at the Talladega Superspeedway in Alabama, Dale Earnhardt Jr. drove to his 5th win of the season. But in his victory lane interview with Matt Yoakum, Earnhardt used an expletive. On Tuesday, NASCAR fined Earnhardt $10,000 and 25 points. Earnhardt is appealing the decision.
I don't think there was any question about what happened. I think it was very clear and matter of fact that here's what occurred, and NASCAR was responsible for reacting to it. And we reacted to an identical situation with an identical reaction, and so it was pretty cut and dry from our perspective.
Here is a look at the championship standings after the 25 points were deducted. Earnhardt was leading Kurt Busch by 13 points and now trails by 12. It's just 159 points from 1st to 9th. The maximum point gain possible in one race is 156. Beginning with this race, NBC Sports will institute a 5-second delay in our NASCAR coverage. Dick Ebersol, chairman of NBC Universal Sports and Olympics, expressed disappointment for viewers in having to do this, but the delay helps protect against anything inappropriate going out over the air. The hope had been that disciplinary action taken by NASCAR earlier this year would remedy the situation. Mr. Ebersol also pointed out that for more than 50 years, most major sporting events have aired live, and while broadcasting on a delay is extremely unfortunate, the conclusion is taking this step provides the additional safeguard needed in today's climate. Earnhardt comes in off the win at Talladega, chasing his 6th win of the season. For more on the Earnhardt story, here is Matt Yoakum.
Bill, Dale Earnhardt Jr. declined our invitation to speak this afternoon, but on Friday, following his qualifying run, he spoke at length with our Dave Burns, giving us his thoughts on both the infraction and the penalty.
I want to express firmly that I don't, I believe I expected to be penalized. I believe what I did wasn't right, wasn't correct, and was offensive. But I don't believe in taking points off the scoreboard. So I feel like that it's fair enough for me to appeal, and we'll see what the decision is with that. But aside from that, I mean, like I said, I mean, I don't disagree with the wrongness of it. Disagree with how the penalty was laid out. Again, I know it's consistent with what's happened in the past, and my opinion is if they don't change it now, change it in the future for the next guy. You know, because points on the scoreboard belong on the scoreboard.
The appeal will be heard within the next 2 weeks. Now the team, they want to use this incident as a huge motivator in their bid for their first Nextel Cup championship. Today, Burns.
Matt, a 19th place finish last week at Talladega dropped Jeff Gordon from the lead to third in the chase for the Nextel Cup. Jeff, things were supposed to be better here at Kansas where you've won twice, but have you been able to improve your ride since its 30th place qualifying effort on Friday?
Well, we're going to find out when they drop the green. You know, this car has just been real temperamental, and it did the same thing at Indianapolis, but on race day we had it figured out and we won the race. So we're hoping we can do the same thing with the DuPont Chevrolet today. I mean, you know, the car, it just goes in and out of loose and tight, and we're really hoping we got the balance on. We've been working hard on it. We're going to fight all day long and see if we can bring it from 30th on up to the front, race with those guys for the lead.
We'll keep an eye on Jeff coming through the pack. To Marty Snyder.
Dave, great racing in odd circumstances have put Kurt Busch in the championship lead in the NASCAR Nextel Cup.
And obviously some audio difficulty there, so Kurt Busch will go ahead and take his ride around the track with Marty and then climb in his car and go 400 miles here this afternoon. We apologize for the audio difficulty there. Now, did you see the finish of the Busch race here yesterday? A lap and a half to go. Tony Stewart in the 81 car, Joe Nemechek right behind him. There's contact, Stewart into the wall and around. Nemechek just edges Greg Biffle in a green-white checkered finish. Today, Nemechek starts on the pole. That's the first lap. The Discover Card Countdown to Green will continue from Kansas. Discover Card Countdown to Green is brought to you by Discover Card. It pays to discover. By Banquet Homestyle Bakes. It's today's homemade. And by new Prestone all makes, all models, extended life antifreeze coolant. Trust Prestone for your own protection. There is a story that is still developing in the garage today, the scope of which is yet to be determined. Saturday, during the Busch race, Tony Stewart, the race leader in the 81 car, and Mike Bliss, a lap down in the 20 car, under caution, appeared to play tag on the racetrack. This seemed to be part of a dispute that started developing earlier in the race and may have continued after the race. Matt has been in the garage this morning and has the latest details. Matt?
Bill, NASCAR is indeed investigating a post-race incident between teammates Tony Stewart and Mike Bliss following Saturday afternoon's Busch Series race. The incident apparently took place in a team hauler. I spoke earlier with NASCAR's Jim Hunter about the investigation and if there was any physical contact between the two drivers.
I think there might have been a little wrestling and that sort of stuff, but from what we know right now, nothing serious. There were a lot of people in a small space, and I guess the best way to put it is there was a lot of yah-yahing and things of that nature, which is going to happen when you have fiery competitors.
The incident took place after a Busch Series race. Will that affect Tony Stewart's Nextel Cup eligibility?
No, at this point in time, I don't think it's. I think it might even have, just with the way stories get around the garage, I think it might have been exaggerated to that degree. But I don't see anything of that nature coming out of this.
Jim Hunter also went on to add that this is a non-Cup issue, a Busch Series issue, and this whole scenario is completely different than Kevin Harvick's Truck Series incident when NASCAR parked him at Martinsville back in 2002. Bill?
Thanks, Matt. And again, this story is still developing. Tony Stewart was placed on probation earlier this year by NASCAR. That probation expired on August 18th. 43 drivers getting ready for 400 miles here at the Kansas Speedway. More from pit road when the countdown rolls on.
Closing in on the start of race number 4 in the chase for the NASCAR Nextel Cup Series Championship Trophy. And the NASCAR pit crew, our NBC pit crew, has gone to work on my microphone. It's now working. Busch, you've gone through some odd circumstances to get into the points lead. Can you extend that today? We hope so. Kansas has been a good track for us, but not with the result side of it. Just trying to make sure the car handles today the right way on the bottom side or the top side, and just make sure that we do the right job in the pits. I mean, we've had a secret. I got to show it to you. Lots of this and a little of this. lots of gas, a little bit of brake.
I got to get it on the right foot.
All right, you got to make sure you put those on the right foot. Kurt, the only man with 3 top 5s to start the chase. Dave?
The last 2.5-mile tracks on the circuit have been very good to Jimmy Johnson. A dominating win at Charlotte, a second place at Chicago. Imagine you're looking forward to getting over the Talladega disappointment of last week, aren't you?
Yeah, definitely. You know, there's just, in racing, anything can happen, and for the last couple months, it has happened to the Slows team, but, you know, we're trying hard, we're working hard, we've had the speed, we just need to get some luck on our side, and hopefully we can start off, you know, get our momentum for this championship back this weekend, and have a good top 5 finish. But the car's been great, unloaded great, qualified great, just hopefully we can finish one of these deals off. We've been running competitively, but just haven't had any luck, and just looking forward to a good day with the Slows car.
Jimmy's already got a good top 5 start. He will start on the outside of row 2. To Matt.
And a guy who had a very solid run yesterday before mechanical issues and an on-track incident took him out. How about your shot today, Matty?
I don't know. We qualified pretty well. Our test went kind of average here. And yesterday when the track was cool like this and it was kind of cloudy, we ran pretty good. But in the afternoon, we didn't run as good. So we'll have to see. I was encouraged by our performance in the Busch race yesterday. And if the track does them same things, hopefully it'll be okay.
It is a little cooler than it was here yesterday as we continue our pre-race show as the pre-race ceremonies continue for today's Banquet 400 here on NBC.
Overcast day here at the Kansas City Speedway. A good crowd on hand, ready for the pre-race ceremonies. So we'll join them. Let's go down trackside.
Ladies and gentlemen, at this time, will you please rise and remove your hats as the 24th Infantry Division Mechanized stationed at Fort Riley, Kansas, presents today's colors. Now, will you please welcome Kansas Speedway's Minister Mark Joseph as he offers today's invocation.
Lord, we thank you for this beautiful day. We pray protection upon all that are here. We'll also lift up the family of Larry Phillips, 5 times NASCAR Weekly Racing Series National Champion and friend and mentor of many of the drivers here today. We pray this all in your precious name. Amen.
Ladies and gentlemen, please remain standing as the Heartland's best loved sister group, national recording artist Mulberry Lane, sing our national anthem.
Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose bright stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the so gallantly streaming, and the rocket's red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh,
in the grandstands here at the Kansas Speedway. They're ready for the command, and that's coming up next. The Discover Card countdown to green is at 0. The Banquet 400 is coming up.
This has been the Discover Card Countdown to Green. Let's go racing.
NBC Sports presents the Banquet 400 for the NASCAR Nextel Cup Series. The Kansas Speedway in Kansas City hosted its first Nextel Cup race in September of 2001. Now this mile-and-a-half track is ready to test the stars of NASCAR in the fourth leg of the chase for the Nextel Cup. Hi everybody, Bill Weber along with Wally Dellenbach and Benny Parsons. Welcome to Kansas City. Our buddy Alan Bestwick had all the bed sheets tied together, was ready to rappel out the window when the doctor walked in and said, "Not so fast, my friend." So Alan's still on the bench for one more week. Get well fast. We do have a plan to bust him out this week, so he will be with us in Charlotte next Friday. As for today, some big-time racing for the Nextel Cup Series. You had a 10th place finish yesterday in the Busch race. Congratulations.
Thank you. Mr. Clean and I had a great time. And good news, 4 years into this racetrack, and we have a good racetrack. We have 2 grooves out here. But it's still slippery up on the outside. As we saw in the Busch race yesterday, you could still get up in the marbles if you get too high. Very slick up in 1, 2, and 3, and 4 if you get too high, and this is what happened to Matt Kenseth. Mike Bliss also sliding through the grass, so although we have 2 grooves, it's a tight 2 grooves, but it should be a great race today.
Should be a lot of fun to watch. This chase for the championship has been a lot of fun for us to cover and a lot of fun for the fans, but if you're one of the teams involved, Benny, the pressure is on.
It really is. I talked to Greg Zipadelli Saturday. He said, "Man, this pressure's killing me because Tony Stewart had one bad race." I talked to Jimmy Fending this morning, the crew chief on the 97 car. I said, "Is this pressure? What are you feeling pressure?" He said, "I'm having the time of my life. All we got to do is trying to worry about winning the race."
And that's what all 43 teams will be trying to do today. Let's take you trackside and get the command.
And now, race fans, for the most famous words in motorsports, our Grand Marshal, Dennis Kinzer.
Gentlemen, start your engines.
The roar of the engines and the roar of the fans. The 4th race at the Kansas Speedway is coming up. You're watching NASCAR on NBC. Kansas Speedway is a relatively new track, just 3 Nextel Cup races here, but the place has already established its reputation for being tough, especially if you're trying to win the Cup. If guys are looking at Talladega in their rearview mirror, they could run headfirst into trouble today. Here's Wally.
Welcome to Kansas Speedway aboard my Mountain Dew car. Now, everybody's breathing a sigh of relief after last week in Talladega. Everybody was worried about being caught in a big wreck, so they're pretty happy that that race is in their rearview mirrors. But after looking at a place like Kansas Speedway, from year 1, this place has always seemed to bite the championship guys in the hunt, in the top 10. How about right here, turn 1, year 1. Bobby Labonte and Dale Jarrett get together. Dale Jarrett, hard in the wall. He was a guy that was in the top 10 as well as Bobby Labonte going for the championship. How about year 2? Sterling Marlin off of turn 2. Gets squeezed hard into the wall. Took him out of the car for the rest of the year. Then there's Matt Kenseth last year. Mr. Consistency. This racetrack, Kansas Speedway, bit him again coming off of turn 2. Like we've seen in the past, all you got to do is have one guy around you make a mistake. And that mistake here in Kansas City could cost you a shot at the championship.
And that's exactly what we saw in the Busch race here on Saturday. Martin Truex Jr. and Kyle Busch both had trouble.
64!
Budweiser, the official beer of NASCAR, is the proud sponsor of the Budweiser Pole Award, given to the fastest qualifier in each NASCAR Nextel Cup race. Budweiser congratulates Joe Nemechek for this weekend's race, and he is headed for the Budweiser Shootout in 2005. Here's our starting grid, 400 miles here at the Kansas Speedway today with Joe Nemechek on the pole and the rookie Kasey Kahne looking for his first win outside of row one.
Jeremy Mayfield on the inside finished third here last year, and Jimmy Johnson always a contender on this type of track.
Bobby Labonte, who has struggled most of the season inside of row 3, next to Greg Biffle, who was second by a nose on Saturday.
Ryan Newman won last year. He's also had 2 of the second-place finishes, and Junior on the outside of row 4.
Dale Earnhardt Jr. Dale Jarrett has struggled at this track. He starts next to Jamie McMurray.
Elliott Sadler, the winner in Texas, with a great car, and Ricky Rudd on the outside of row 6.
The rookie Brendan Gaughan, who almost stole one last week at Talladega, next to Scott Riggs.
We saw Matt Kenseth last year. Can he come back in Kansas this year? And Carl Edwards, a teammate of Kenseth, on the outside of row 8.
Jeff Burton in the 30 car driving for Richard Childress next to his former Roush Racing teammate Mark Martin, who runs good at these kinds of tracks.
And Terry Labonte, one of his better qualifying runs of the year, top of the line, the NASCAR Craftsman Truck Series winner in California last year.
Kurt Busch is the series points leader right now. He starts back in row 11 next to Casey Mears.
Tony Stewart on the outside of row 12 going for that NASCAR Nextel Cup.
In row 13, Brian Vickers on the inside, and the veteran Michael Waltrip on the outside.
You see Jeff Green, Sterling Marlin back in row 14.
Kevin Harvick, winless this season, winless since the Brickyard in 2003, and Jeff Gordon back in row 15.
And never see on the inside of row 16, Bobby Hamilton Jr. runs very well on this type of racetrack, could come to the front.
Jimmy Spencer in row 17, next to Kyle Busch.
And check this out, on the outside of row 18, Rusty Wallace, who runs so well at this racetrack.
Scott Wimmer and Shane Meal, who got his win in the Truck Series just a couple of weeks ago. The last cars to get in on time. Here are the provisionals led by Kyle Petty. Mile-and-a-half racetrack here at Kansas City for 100 miles today. It is overcast. The forecast is for rain later today, so going green just slightly earlier than expected. Here's a look at the cars that failed to qualify. Mike Garvey, Carl Long, Morgan Shepherd, and Mike Wallace. And 3 cars will drop to the rear of the field because of engine changes. Sadler, Shelmerdine, and Stanton Barrett. They just got the 1 to go. Let's get the final stories from pit road, starting with Matt.
Jeremy Mayfield. He comes into Kansas 10th in the championship standings. Now he's already had 2 finishes of 35th or worse. So now for Jeremy, the game plan is simple. He has to win the final 7 races. Really put that Dodge out front. A new paint scheme this week, the Hemi colors. Now he has a track here at Kansas where he has some good success. He finished 3rd here last year. He's been top 5 all weekend during practice, and he finished 3rd here 1 year ago. To Marty.
Matt, Kansas is famous for its tornadoes, and the closest thing we've had to that this weekend, Joe Nemechek storming in here on Friday, claiming the pole position. Saturday, winning the Busch Series race. There's only one thing left for him to win, today's Cup race, and he said, you know what, I can do that. The car, very good, he told me before he got in. This is the team building momentum. Started on the pole last week at Talladega, finished 7th. Dave?
Marty, a driver right next to Joe Nemechek. Kasey Kahne is one who did not make the chase for the Nextel Cup, but he's got something to look forward to this year. After finishing 2nd 5 times, people expect Kasey Kahne to be in victory lane before the season's out. This morning in the garage area, when you asked the crew chiefs and other crew members who they thought was strong in today's race, time and again it came up, the 9 car. Look for Kasey Kahne to be strong today. He qualified 2nd for both events he was in at the track this weekend. Bill?
Thanks, guys. Have a great day down there. Beginning with this race, NBC Sports will institute a 5-second delay in our NASCAR coverage. The delay helps protect against anything inappropriate going out over the air. Pace car is off 43, coming to get the green flag at the 4-year-old Kansas Speedway with 80,000 fans on their feet in the grandstands. Infield's been packed all weekend, and here we go, the chase is on. Trouble for the 40 car of Sterling Marlin, off the pace early.
Is that the 16 back there too? Or?
No, that was the 72, I believe.
Oh, okay.
Dropping to the rear at the start. Nemechek into 3.
And Casey Kane, the 9 car, being pushed out to the outside, and NASCAR's starting to cost for debris on the front stretch.
And this will be a challenge to freeze this field. It's a clutch or transmission problem is what we're hearing on the 40 cars. Sterling Marlin coasting midway between turns 1 and 2. Dave, what do you got?
And guess what the yellow flag is related to? Those very parts being on the track. And there they are. Ooh. And Sterling Marlin may be the car that dropped him. He said, I think I have a clutch problem, guys.
Thanks, Dave. Boy, this track has not been very kind to Sterling Marlin. Took a hard hit here a few years ago, knocked him out for the rest of the season, as Wally talked about earlier today. Early caution. We'll take a quick break from the Kansas Speedway. NBC's coverage of the Banquet 400 is brought to you by Banquet Crock-Pot Classics. Slow cooking just got easier. By Ford, the official truck of NASCAR. By Nextel coast-to-coast walkie-talkie. Nextel, done. And by Mountain Dew, drink up, throw down. Working an early caution here at Kansas. Didn't even get one lap completed before the 40 of Sterling Marlin had trouble. Listen.
I mean, this is a... Folks, you got to hear this.
That is what you call hand grenade.
And you saw the hood pop up when whatever broke in the drivetrain threw the engine up against the hood.
And that was metal parts flying around in there, so that was ugly.
Sterling climbs out in the garage. Here's our Busch update. The unofficial results from yesterday's race here at the Kansas Speedway. Joe Nemechek beating Greg Biffle in that green-white checkered finish after the contact with Tony Stewart on the racetrack. And the current championship standings. Truex Jr. 149 ahead of Kyle Busch. And boy, did that number bounce around here yesterday. In the NASCAR Craftsman Truck Series, after 20 of the 25 races, here are the official standings. Bobby Hamilton Jr. with a 56-point lead over Dennis Setzer. Carl Edwards, 146 points out in third. There's much more NASCAR at NBCSports.com. BP previews every Nextel Cup race and explains why NASCAR had to penalize Dale Earnhardt Jr. last week. It's all at NBCSports.com. You explained why, huh?
Well, didn't have much choice.
Here we go.
Green flag.
Looks like Jamie McMurray took advantage of all those cars going down on the inside on that restart and jumped up around Ryan Newman.
You can pass on the outside on a restart, just not on the inside.
You watch the cars on the track and check in with Marty back in the garage.
Talk about not breaking a sweat. I don't even think you got used to the seat yet, did you, Sterling Marlin? What was that all about?
I don't know. You come into the green up back straightaway, and something felt weird. I radioed to lead him. I said, something feels weird. And then it got okay in 3 and 4, and come to the green and sacked the gear with the mash gas, and it just went boom. So, tore the whole yoke off the gear, and I've never seen nothing like it. Been racing long now. I've never seen anything like that. So, just hate it. Hate for everybody on the Coors Light team, and keep your chin up, work hard, all I can say.
All right, I think that they'll be able to fix this and get him back out, but it's going to be a few laps down when he starts the race finally.
That's something you'd see the drag race.
Yeah, that's right.
You know? He's talking about breaking the yoke off the rear gear in the back of the car.
And we saw Jeremy Mayfield around Joe Nemechek for the lead.
Dodges were awfully strong here in both practices. So
if the 9 and the 19 don't get caught up in something, that could be a big 1-2 finish for Evernham Motorsports today.
And another thing is, I found out yesterday when I was racing the Busch races, clean air means a lot. So I think if these Dodges get out front and they get that clean air, they're going to be gone.
And here the 9 car, Jeremy Mayfield, goes to the high side. That's not a real shock because he loves that outside groove.
Yes, he does.
And most racetracks. Now, I talked to Ray Evernham this morning, the owner of the 9 and 19 cars, and he said, we've had fast race cars the last couple of months. We haven't done a good job as a team putting the finishing touch on, winning the races. That's what we've got to do.
They did a great job with Jeremy at Richmond, getting him to victory lane and getting him into the chase. Nemechek in second. Kane going high, you guys.
Yeah, you see, like I said, that outside groove was really good. There's a lot of racing room up there. Looks like he's going to make it work this time. Car normally you know, unless you're on the inside and you just breathe off it like Nemechek did and give the guy the spot. But normally the guy on the outside could run in a little bit deeper into turn one.
We saw Nemechek do that yesterday.
Matt Yoakum.
And Casey Kane telling crew chief Tommy Baldwin just how this race car is reacting early on. He says the car is a little tight on exit. The car was very loose during final practice, which Tommy said was great because this racetrack has a tendency, Bill, as you know, to tighten up as the laps continue on during the afternoon.
And that's a concern for everybody in the garage. And now on the track. You watch the ticker at the top of the screen. The names in black, highlighted in yellow, are the 10 drivers in the chase for the championship.
That was close.
And Ricky Rudd, that 21 car, thought about making it 3 wide and said, maybe not this early in the race. Later, yes, not now.
Ooh, look at Newman. He's underneath Bobby Labonte, and he just lost grip. He tried running under there. When you're really close to the other car, if you're on the bottom, there's a car up to the right side of you, you lose the air on your car, you lose the downforce, and you slide up like you saw Newman did on the 18 of Bobby Labonte.
And the same thing happened to 21 going in turn 1. With that car on the outside, he just couldn't drive it in there like he normally does.
And if you're smart and you're the guy on the outside, you won't give him that room. You'll drive right down on his door.
Here comes the 16 car, Greg Biffle, trying to take over the 3rd spot from Joe Nemechek. Started in 6th in the 16.
There's a good pack.
Yep. Same guys we were watching a few moments ago. Dale Jarrett on the inside in the brown and white 88.
Brendan Gaughan in 77. That yellow car on the outside of 88. Terrific run here this week. Last week finished 4th spot. His best finish ever in NASCAR Nextel Cup racing.
How confident do you think he is today, Brendan Gaughan?
Oh, he is pumped up. I talked to Shane Wilson, the crew chief, and that team is good to go.
They just needed that good finish. You know, you're talking about Casey Kane. You need that finish to give that team confidence. That's what those guys got. Matt?
Shane told me this morning, this is Brendan's kind of place, a big momentum type of racetrack that he is used to when he competed in the NASCAR Craftsman Truck Series. He knows what he needs to have as far as a feel, Wally, from the start of the run to the middle of the run to the end of the run. And he hasn't been able to do that this year. They feel like they're starting to hit on that type of feel that he needs.
That's what you got to do. Once you give a driver what he's looking for, it makes all the difference in the world, because all these guys are good drivers, but you've got to give them what they're looking for. Every driver is different. They all like different things in a race car.
Early problems for the 43 of Jeff Green. He's on pit road after starting 27th.
So Ricky Rudd could not make that pass. He was faster than Bobby Labonte, but Bobby, his season has gone so badly. He said, look, I need a good run. I ain't letting nobody pass me.
And, you know, the thing is, we talk about the dirty air. You've got to be in clean air, and this is where the front of your cars really need to be working when in traffic.
Jeremy Mayfield leads. His teammate Casey Kane runs 2nd at Kansas in the Banquet 400. Just a moment ago, Carl Edwards with the spin. A little fuel burning off as he gets it restarted, but it looks like he kept it out of the wall.
Maybe a little dizzy right now. This is another, I don't know what happened, but this is another racetrack where you can get guys loose. You can get right up on their bumper, take the air off the spoiler, and get a car loose.
Let's see if we can see what might have happened to Carl Edwards. Remember, he crashed a car in practice here on Friday. While he just gets up there and that car on the outside, he loses a little bit of downforce, and around he goes.
Now, was that somewhat of what you were talking about earlier in the race?
Well, you know, you can, when you get right up behind somebody here, you can definitely get them turned sideways. I did it to a couple of guys yesterday. But the thing is, he's trying to keep the car down, and he's staying on the gas because there was a car up above him. And I think when he got on the gas, it just got loose because he was trying to hold the car down on the low side.
And that sound was the car transitioning to the apron.
And he told the crew, said, hey, the car's really, really loose. My fault, just spun out.
Dave, more on the 99.
Yeah, they did test last week, but it's not this car. He wrecked his primary car Friday in practice, and they had to go with one that they weren't as familiar with. Crew Chief Bob Osborne told me this morning, I think Carl can handle it, but it's not going to be what we've practiced to get to this race.
So Carl Edwards will rejoin the field under caution here at Kansas. Just 16 laps completed.
We might see some pit stops.
I think we will.
If this thing goes green, 16 laps is a big deal. It gets a lot of cars in their pit window. Jeremy, is he coming? Yes.
Yes, he is. He made the commitment line.
And left Casey Kane on the racetrack all by himself. The only car on the racetrack. Marty.
Good job, BP. That's exactly why the 19 pitted, and the only reason they pitted, fuel only, very happy with the chassis, just wanted to get in that fuel window to help them later in the race. Matt?
And Joe Nemechek telling his crew chief, Ryan Pemberton, the car was a little snappy at the beginning of the run. He changed his line. They were talking about making a two-tire change and going with a track bar adjustment to try to fix that. They make the adjustment. He almost stalls it. He's finally away.
Well, I tell you what, some really, really close calls on pit road.
Biffle almost got into somebody.
And Mark Martin got squeezed out because Edwards was so late coming to his pit. And that cost him some time.
I think maybe the 25 car might have run in the back of Rusty Wallace on pit road.
So we'll sort out the field when we come back to Kansas. 17 laps complete with Casey Kane, the only guy that didn't pit, scored as the leader. The field coming to the line as the green flag comes out at Kansas on lap 20. With Casey Kane, who did not pit, the race leader. A mixture of 2 tires, 4 tires, and gas-only stops on pit road. Now the teammates. Mayfield inside of Kane in the 9. Well, maybe not.
There he goes.
There he goes.
Had it been another car but the 19, there might have been a bigger argument over that spot. But since it was a 19, I didn't think Casey could argue that much.
48, Jimmy Johnson looking pretty good, working the low side right now. Casey Kane.
And you saw the 22 car on the apron of Scott Wimmer. He followed the pace car down pit road. I guess a flat tire. They changed left sides.
If you're looking for Jeff Gordon, look in the 34th position. Gordon's team left the wedge adjustment tool in the rear window.
Yeah, they went to put it in and to make an adjustment, and they forgot about it.
Caleb Hurd, the tire changer, he puts it in the rear window there, but Steve Letarte was supposed, I guess the rear tire carrier is supposed to make the adjustment. He, I guess, forgot it wasn't there or didn't realize it was in the rear window.
It was a track bar adjustment tool. And that was a mess right there with the 17 and the 22 and the 41.
Brake smoke?
I don't know what that, I was assuming that's what it was.
No, he's rubbing a fender.
Left front.
Left front fender is rubbing on the 17 car of Matt Kenseth. I don't know if he got into something or it's just because they've got low tire pressures right now.
Martin 6 car, another driver who had a very close call on pit road. Did not make contact, but very close call. Man,
he's really smoking.
And his tire pressure shouldn't be that low because he only took gas on that stop.
See, I think that he's made contact with somebody probably on pit road.
Yeah. Everything is so close on these cars. It doesn't take a whole lot. All you got to do is barely touch a fender, and it's very close.
Jimmy Johnson, second place around Casey Kane. So Johnson coming off the disappointment at Talladega to second.
Let's watch the 17 go into turn 1 here, see if he does it again. Yep, Marty, what are they saying about that?
He made contact with Kevin Harvick as they were leaving pit road. They're pitted sort of near each other. The left front fender is the concern for the Kenseth bunch. They are watching it every lap, but a lot of times those bang-ups don't go away, do they, Wally?
No, those left front fenders are pretty important in a place like this. That's close. That's tight racing right there.
Top of the screen.
Yeah, the insert you're seeing was the 38 car. Elliott Sadler trying to take over the 3rd spot from the 9, and meanwhile Ryan Newman, the 12 car, trying to take over whatever spot that is. Not bad stuff.
Sadler's in 4th, Newman in 5th. Nemechek, the pole sitter, is slipped to 6th. Rudd Biffle, McMurray, and Brendan Gaul in the top 10. For more on Ryan Newman to Dave.
A little conversation between spotter Aaron Oakley and Ryan Newman revealed that Oakley felt the car was very good in the middle of the racetrack. Newman's response to that, this car is very, very aero dependent. We talk about that, how much the air on the front of these cars helps them handle. He said sometimes it's aero loose, means the back end comes around. Sometimes it's aero tight, meaning the front end of the car wants to go toward the wall. It's difficult to handle, but once you get a handle on it, you can do very well. But a lot of aero issues here at the track.
Yeah, there's a lot of that here, Dave. That's why the clean air is such a premium on a racetrack like this, if you can get away from people. if a car is running in a good position, like say you got a car running really good low, you got to figure out different places on the racetrack to try to pass them to get that clean air. And it's tough. You got to search around a little bit. Try the high line, try the middle.
The 48 of Johnson took fuel only, as did the 12 of Newman.
Talk about that 48. Next week at Charlotte, his best racetrack.
He really loves racing there, and that's where we go next week as you take a look at the Wendy's race menu. That's a Saturday night race. Then Sunday at Martinsville, the final short track race of the year. Then the Speedy Atlanta Motor Speedway, and then November 7th, we head out west to Phoenix. Your Wendy's race menu, all the Nextel Cup races on the road to Homestead right here on NBC.
You see the 48 car has moved up the racetrack, Jimmy Johnson, and it seems like Casey Kane is trying to work the bottom, but his car, I think, works better up high. So now Ryan Newman's going to search up there on the high side, see if he can find some grip.
My guess is that Casey Kane, the 9 car, is now trying to run the bottom of the racetrack because his teammate, Jeremy Mayfield, is having so much success down there. Because Casey, we know, loves to run the outside, but Jeremy is making some really good time on the bottom.
Now Newman going to try low. There's Kane in a familiar spot.
Yeah, now that's where he usually likes to run.
And he's right on the edge of where the grip stops and the marbles start. He doesn't have a whole lot of area to work with there.
Greg Biffle goes by Elliott Sadler. Takes over the 5th spot.
And there's the 17 of Matt Kenseth slowly working backwards in the field. He has slipped to 17th.
Yeah, that fender, that's a big problem at a racetrack like this. Like I said, it's very, very important, that downforce.
Casey Kane runs 3rd behind the 48 of Jimmy Johnson. More than 9 from Matt.
Just a little over 2nd behind his teammate who leads. Now Casey Kane, I spoke with crew chief Tommy Baldwin. He said, you know, we watched Saturday's Busch Series race, and Tony Stewart ran what seemed like all day long on the same set of tires. So basically that's our early strategy. And he said also, if you look at the other contenders, most took 2 or fuel only. So we are in good shape. The car just a tick on the tight side. He's searching around a little bit to see if he can find a better line. He starts to inch a little bit up high.
Man, that is right on the edge, that never land.
Now Kane ran the Busch race yesterday. Does he know where that line is?
Yes, he does. I think he bounced off the wall.
Yes, he did.
Off turn 2, so he pretty much knows where the grip ends.
And we see he's not trying that. He's not venturing up on the outside of in turn 2. There are 2 points leader.
The 97 of Kurt Busch, Dale Earnhardt Jr. in the 8th. More on Kurt Busch from Dave.
Yeah, Bill, he was running up in the front part of the pack, but they were one of the few cars that took on tires during that last pit stop. In fact, they took on 4, made a slight air pressure adjustment. Kurt was complaining that the car was a little bit loose off the corner. Marty?
Dave, in the lap 17 stop for Dale Earnhardt Jr., he was a little bit tight. He said, don't adjust too much. They took a ½ pound out of both left side tires. Car especially tight in 1 and 2. A critical race for the 8 team. You see they're 15th right now in this race because they haven't run well at this type of racetrack. But they found something midway through the California race. They tested it here. It worked. Junior has really liked it. This has been their Achilles heel, if anything, and they are trying to get better at this type of racetrack so far. Car looks pretty good.
The 94 of Stanton Barrett headed to the garage, while Jeremy Mayfield continues to set a very swift pace here at the Kansas Speedway. It's Dodge, Chevy, Dodge, and Ford up front at Kansas. You come to the Kansas Speedway, 2 things you're guaranteed of: great barbecue and a great crowd, and they are here today, filling the grandstands and the infield at the Kansas Speedway. The battle for 3rd. Jimmy Johnson has it. Ryan Newman wants it.
Newman seems like he is sliding around a lot around other cars. His car looks good when it's in clean air, but it looks like he has his hands full in dirty air when there's other cars around him.
And there's going to be a lot of dirty air for a while.
Yeah.
I think the 12 car is just like the 9. I think he's faster than Jimmy Johnson. I think Greg Biffle is probably faster. But it's so difficult to get by these guys. 16 car is looking pretty good, Marty.
Greg Biffle's having a great run, BP. They were just a little bit tight when they stopped at lap 17. They made a wedge adjustment. Car's been very good for Biffle. Yesterday in the first practice, though, they had a terrible vibration. They changed everything underneath the bottom side of that car except the engine. Greg said it went away, but he still has a little bit of one, and he'll have to live with it for most of the day. Only slightly concerned that it may be an issue later in the race.
Yeah, Greg's car is working really, really good down on the bottom. And boy, if you can get a car to do that all day long, you're going to be at the front.
Hey, Sterling Marlin coming around to complete a lap.
He's 22 laps down.
That stinks for a driver, doesn't it?
But, you know, that's not bad, changing the gear.
No,
drive shaft all that in 22 minutes or 22 laps.
Did a great job, but when you're a driver, you're out there just driving by yourself, the most boring thing in the world. No fun.
400 miles with nothing to do except run 400 miles.
Of course, Sterling had the troubles when the green flag came out and had to be pushed back on the opening lap. Right up to that safer barrier new here at Kansas this year. And you'll see the safer barrier in the turns and along the front stretch. Kurt Busch down low.
Tell you what, he's driven away from the 8 car, Dale Earnhardt Jr. He's gone by Brendan Gaughan, 41 of Casey Mears.
That Brendan Gaughan he just passed?
Yeah.
77 car?
He was 21st on the lap 20, and on lap 42, 12. More on the 97 from Dave.
Just a little. 4 tires, guys. 4 tires.
Yeah. That helps, doesn't it?
Absolutely.
On board with Robbie Gordon in the singular Chevrolet. Here's our singular race talk poll. What is most important to winning a race? Strong heart, a lot of courage, your head, or finding your way home. And obviously playing off Kansas and the 65th anniversary of the Wizard of Oz. And there are a lot of drivers out there with Wizard of Oz paint schemes this weekend.
All right, here's a battle for 3rd spot as Biffle goes by Jimmy Johnson.
No contest, man. That car is working great.
Right when we started talking about it, too.
It's hooked up on the bottom.
Jeremy Mayfield continues to lead, needs a big finish. We will take you through the field when we come back to Kansas. Coming to NBC a week from Tuesday, it's the next big thing in television, where the biggest winner is the biggest loser, all for $250,000. That's the biggest loser coming to NBC a week from Tuesday.
Man, that looks like fun.
They got to stay out of the catering tent.
See the leader, Jeremy Mayfield. There's 2nd place car. Biffle is in 3rd. And here comes the battle still for 4th between Jimmy Johnson, 48, and 12 of Ryan Newman. Newman just has not been able to get by the 48. And you're probably right, Wally. It has to do with aerodynamics.
Yeah, I think he's just not able to, although he's going to take a look here, maybe have enough.
He pulls up a lot.
Yeah.
He doesn't seem to be able to get by like you were talking about.
Just can't keep the nose planted. Although the 48 really tripped it up the racetrack, so that actually helped, but there's that guy in the way.
Kyle Petty came off the corner. Kyle had been on pit road and obviously has some kind of problem.
Well, look at that. It cost Ryan another spot. He had to get out of the throttle so much because of Kyle. Well, maybe it'll cost him a spot. Elliott Sadler on 38 car. Boy, did he make up some ground on that. Just getting out of the throttle a little bit.
That battle continues near the front of the field. There is Jeff Gordon, restarted 34th, now up to 24th. Of course, he lost time on pit road, having to make that 2nd stop when they left the track bar adjustment tool in the rear window. There's your race leader, Jeremy Mayfield. Time to take you through the field. Let's start with Marty.
It's a nice, easy Sunday drive for Jeremy Mayfield. And you know when you're in the lead and there's no one around you, there's not a lot of traffic on the radio. That's the case for the 19 right now. Driving the car he almost won Chicago with today. They want to close the deal. Matt?
His teammate running the car that he could have won Chicago with, but he was crashed out, running in the 2nd position. He will pit between 6 and 7 laps, Marty. He told his team, if you guys could just free me up, we have something very special here.
Matt, in yesterday's Busch Series race, Greg Biffle finished 2nd today. He wants to do one tick better. Car just a little bit tight, starting to get tighter as he tries to chase down Casey King. Dave?
48 of Jimmy Johnson radioed on lap 28, skating the fronts through the center. That's a tight condition that has lessened a little bit for Jimmy at this point, but still a little bit of a tight race car. Tight for Ryan Newman as well. Tight all around, he said. Too much nose weight, he asked his guys. They're planning a track bar and a wedge adjustment on the 38. Tight through the middle and loose off. That's the 38's call right now. Elliott Sadler, one of the chasers for the Nextel Cup, trying to work his way back toward the front. And Ricky Rudd, what a great run. They've been fast all weekend, but he radioed in that the track is really greasy. On lap 40, he said, I can't go high in 3 and 4 because I think I'll spin out. Marty?
Dave, Jamie McMurray started 10th today. Currently, he is in the 8th position. Cars loose in, tight in the middle, and loose off. He said, fix that, guys. 11th place man in the championship, trying to hold on to that for the $1 million bonus. Dave?
97 of Kurt Busch making up time. He restarted 18th. He's made up half that ground. He's all the way up to 9th on those 4 fresh tires. Marty?
Mark Martin moving smartly through the field. Started 18th. Currently, he's in the 10th position, making steady progress. Just a little bit loose in is Mark's only complaint.
Thanks, guys. Jeremy Mayfield, still the race leader, has led 49 of the 56 laps. Let's continue going through the field. Matt?
We're running in the 11th position as pole sitter Joe Nemechek been on a roll, back-to-back poles, 2 top 10s in the last 3 races. The issue now, he is just searching, just changing his line, trying to find some much-needed grip. They made a track bar adjustment to try to free up their race car on the first stop, Marty.
Matt, check out the progress for the pink car. Casey Mears started 21st. Currently, he's in the 12th position car, just a little bit loose earlier, trying different lanes on the racetrack. See if he can help that out. Matt?
One advantage of running a wide-open racetrack like Kansas. You can search around. It's exactly what Brendan Gaughan's doing. He moved to the top grooves, but he said it caused him to be too tight. He went back down to the bottom, Marty.
Happy birthday to Dale Earnhardt Jr., who turns 30 today. They have a sign behind his pit stall that all the fans sign. Right now, he's trying to pass the 77 car too tight for Dale Earnhardt Jr.
Thanks, guys. Casey Kane on pit road.
This has to be an unscheduled stop, isn't it, Matt?
BP?
Oh, he stayed out, didn't he?
Yes, he did. Remember, the only car to stay out. You can see the wrench going in the back window. They're going to make a chassis adjustment. Casey said, you just need to free me up a little bit. We have an excellent race car. The motor is extremely strong. Solid stop going on by the Dodge boys, and he's away.
But if this race doesn't stay green, he's in trouble.
Yeah, because now the caution plate comes out, slows the field down. It's taking him a lap to do that. He can be a lap down or a mile and a half behind the other cars. Now you got to stay on the apron. As you leave pit road to right there off turn 2, you can move up and blend in with the traffic.
But one thing on those new tires now, he should be a lot faster than the rest of these cars. So, see where it all shakes out, where he winds up. It looks like he's about, well, there's Dale Jarrett in the 88 car's 13th. But see how much faster he is now?
Yep.
So he's going to make up a lot of ground here in the next few laps.
Let's continue our through the field right behind the 9, the 88 of Dale Jarrett, Marty.
Yeah, speaking of Dale Jarrett, there he is making some progress now. The car is neutral in 1 and 2, which means it's pretty good. Tight off of turn 4. The problem for DJ today, he doesn't feel so hot. A little bit of a flu bug he came up with this morning. But he's going to be okay, though, hydrating as much as he can inside the race car. Matt?
Chicago winner Tony Stewart back on lap 17, 4 tires, and they raised the track bar to try to make the car a little more free. Now Tony says the car is too free. He cannot carry his speed on entry. They need to tighten him up. Meanwhile, Jeff Burton on his first stop, no adjustments, so the car was a little free. Now he says the car is way too free. They're talking about what adjustments to make on his first stop, Marty.
Talked to Robbie Reiser about the damage on the left front fender for Matt Kenseth. He said it's really bent on the top, not that much of an issue now. He said the biggest problem is the car is hard to turn, really, really tight for the 17 bunch, who is currently in 17th. Michael Waltrip said his car is a wild car. That's what he called it. Tight in, loose off. They took fuel only on the lap 17 stop. Matt?
Rusty Walsh and the Penske Dodge having a solid run. Earlier you saw some damage to the rear of his car. He was run into by the 25 of Brian Vickers on pit road. We've got a change for the lead.
Well, we've got a challenge for the lead at least.
16 car of Greg Biffle is just flying. That car is working so good right now on the bottom, like I said, because most of these cars are tight, or even if you're loose, you're going to slide up the racetrack. But if you can keep your car down on the bottom, you're going to be fast.
And how did he make up all that ground on Jeremy Mayfield? A 19 car run across this traffic, and these guys were racing each other, and it held him up to allow Biffle to catch him, and once he caught him, he drove by.
You were watching Biffle's car, weren't you? It's good.
Yeah, I mean, if you can get, I'm telling you what, if you can run around the bottom, I had a car like that yesterday, and I mean, it was a lot of fun, because you could just stick it down on that white line, pass a lot of cars.
The battle for fourth. Ryan Newman is third, Elliott Sadler is fourth, and Jimmy Johnson in the 48 on the outside.
And Jimmy in that 48 car continues to lose some ground to the leaders.
Yeah, he starts running higher and higher in the racetrack the longer we go into this race. Started at the bottom really good, but now he seems to be searching for some grip, which means he's having a little bit of trouble with the handle.
Getting back to Biffle for just a second, he ran here yesterday as well. That has to help him.
I think it would. I mean, I think you know what you're trying to look for, and you know where the grip is on the racetrack.
Right.
I mean, yesterday 1 and 2 was really, really fast, and 3 and 4 was really slick. So you can go back and try to make your car better for the Sunday race and make it more, have it more grip in 3 and 4.
Greg Biffle, second by a nose yesterday in a green-white checker finish in the Busch race, leads today at Kansas in the Banquet 400. NBC's coverage of the Banquet 400 is brought to you by Chevy, the winningest name in racing in American Revolution. By Miller, there's good enough and there's better than it has to be. Miller, good call. By Wrangler, makers of Wrangler 5-star relaxed fit premium quality denim. And by the Home Depot, NASCAR's home improvement warehouse. Back at the Kansas Speedway, the sun trying to break through. 72 laps on the board. The 84 of Kyle Busch on pit road. Marty.
Yeah, the young rookie making one of his first NASCAR Nextel Cup starts, coming in with a tight race car. They did make a wedge adjustment trying to loosen that race car up for Kyle Busch.
There's another fast race car right now. It's Mark Martin in that 6 car. He's another one that's just flying right now.
He just passed Elliott Sadler to take over the 4th position. And you're right, Walt, I've been watching his times on the monitor, and he has been fast. Not quite as fast as Biffle, but fast.
Had the chance to spend some time with Mark in Batesville, Arkansas this week. And I'm telling you, he is so pumped up about being in the chase. He's actually talking about the chance that he might have a shot at the championship in the final 7 races. Just extremely excited about his chances and confident in his crew. The 84 coming back to pit road for a speeding penalty, and right behind him, the 48 of Jimmy Johnson.
And I tell you, Jimmy, there's not been, I don't think anyone's ever made a pit stop any more relieved than Jimmy Johnson is right now. Please fix this car.
Think it'll be 4 tires?
I think so, Dave.
Chad Knaus, the crew chief, asked him, can you go 5 more laps? And he said, no, it's getting ugly. He's referring, I believe, to the right front tire. Jimmy said it started feeling funny about 10 laps ago, and he did not want to be out there very much longer. Chad said, bring it in. They'll make a 4-tire change, air pressure adjustments for Jimmy. He'd been complaining that also that the car had been a little bit tight. Marty?
A little tight for leader Greg Biffle, but very happy with the chassis. Obviously fast at the end of that run. Great stop going so far. Half a pound out of both front tires, trying to loosen the car up for the 16 much. Same car you won Michigan with, Matt.
Rusty Wallace thought he felt something funny in one of the front tires. Pitted. 4-tire change for Wallace.
Jeremy Mayfield in the 19 now comes to pit road. Marty.
Car getting tight for Jeremy Mayfield, tighter the longer he ran. They make an air pressure adjustment. Kenny Francis also told me Jeremy was taking it easy at the end of that run, trying to take care of the car, saving it for later in the race. We talked about how these Evernham cars want to close the deal today. The 19 car winning in Richmond a few weeks ago with a decent stop here.
We saw Jeremy, they've knocked that piece of tape or paper off the grill of that car, but that where the paper was located, that's taped up anyway. It was not blocking the air.
Mark Martin slows. He is now headed for his pit stall along pit road. Strong run for Mark so far, 7th as he heads to Marty.
Yeah, Bill, especially at the end of that run, strong for Mark Martin. His car started out very loose. Took a little while for it to come in, but when it did come in, he was one of the better cars at the end of that run. They make an air pressure adjustment, trying to tighten it up at the beginning of that run. At the end of it, Mark said it's just about perfect. Good stop for the 6th one, and now it takes a long time for the left rear. Matt?
And Jeff Burton pulls the 30 car to a stop on his first stop back on lap 17. Took on 4 tires, no adjustments. You can see the adjustment taking place. We have a spin.
Ward Burton spun entering pit road.
He did a 360 and kept going.
Yes. That's a good job. What's that all about?
There's a 12 car of Ryan Newman on pit road. Dave?
Ryan Newman wants a wedge adjustment. The wrench gets turned. His car was tight. A lot going on pit road. 4 tires for the 38 car of Elliott Sadler as well. The 0 car of Ward Burton. His brakes aren't working. He slid through his pit. Marty?
Loose end tied off for Dale Earnhardt Jr. Half pound to the right front tire, trying to fix that tied off condition, and a quick stop for the Bud guys.
Now here's what happened when Ward Burton was coming to pit road.
And as I said, he has no brakes, so he's trying to get slow, but he's just going too fast. And this actually does him a favor because it slows him down so he can get this pit. But watch, if we follow this, Earnhardt Jr. comes in, and they're going to the same spot, and eventually Junior's going to run in the back of the 0. I hope it didn't do any damage to the 8 car.
It didn't look like it did any damage. I looked at Dale's car when he pulled out. It looks okay.
And that's one of the reasons Ward went through his stall, was because he has no brakes, and Earnhardt Jr. was giving him a shove.
Matt. Jeff Gordon calling and needing significant adjustments on the 24 car. He says the car is just so loose, absolutely no grip. The car nearly sideways entering turn 3. Meanwhile, Tony Stewart makes his way to his pit stall. We told you earlier, had a really loose race car on entry, but now he says at the end of this run, the car had gone to the tight side. You can see the wrench in the back window. Shaggy makes some adjustments with a track bar. Lux go on the left side. He's away.
Good pit stop. Meanwhile, as all these cars made pit stops, Kurt Busch, the 97 car, had taken over the lead, got the bonus points, Dave.
That's how you win championships, and he was the leader coming into this race today. They'll make a 4-tire change. They'll take a roundabout out of the car. Kurt's crew going to work on the left side now, trying to keep him under 14 or 13 seconds. It's a good stop for the 97 crew.
Oh, man, what a great pit stop. I tell you what, hopefully there's no loose lug nuts on that 97.
And look who's leading.
Kasey Kahne.
Yep.
He's feeling pretty good right about now, isn't he? Did not pit when everyone else did under an early caution.
But he's still out of sequence with these leaders. He needs a caution flag now to get back in sequence.
5 second-place finishes for the rookie out of Enumclaw, Washington. Still looking for his first win. Had a shot at making the chase for the Cup. Came up just a little bit short, but has really shown remarkable skills.
Unbelievable. Not remarkable, Bill. Unbelievable. What he's done as the Rebecca's rookie challenger has been something we haven't seen in a long, long time. Of course, we have seen rookies win.
Right.
He hasn't, but race in and race out, he has been consistently up front.
If there was an award for best near misses, he'd have that wrapped up.
Now he's back up to the top of the racetrack. As his tires start getting a little bit warm, he moves up to find some grip.
And when he's running by himself, he can pretty much decide where he wants to be on the racetrack.
Yeah, he can hog it all.
So, after we cycle through pit stops, Kasey Kahne, the rookie from Washington, out front, still trying to find that elusive first Nextel Cup Series win. Will it come at Kansas? 88 laps are on the board at the Kansas Speedway in Kansas City, and Kasey Kahne continues to lead, looking for his first Nextel Cup win. And that 9 car has been strong. He is out of sequence with the rest of the field, but benefited from green flag laps here at Kansas. A developing story on the 16 of Greg Biffle. For that, we go to Marty.
Possibly, Bill. Greg Biffle radioed to his crew, said, I think I might have a right rear tire going down. The team is on the wall. He said, they said, we're ready for you if you think it's going to go down. He said, have someone look at my right rear. So he's going to try to get someone to pull beside him, look at his right rear while they're driving, and tell him if it's going flat or not.
Well, tell him he just passed the 99 car. He should have slowed down. He's going too fast.
That's what he wanted to do, BP. He said, tell him to look at my right rear when he goes by.
Okay, maybe Carl Edwards in the 99 can give him some information.
Pretty hard to do.
Yes, it is.
At this speed.
What's it feel like?
What?
Is it going to spin out?
Yeah, when the tire goes down?
Yeah.
Yeah, it just feels unstable, like it, you know, wants to spin out, yeah. Especially going into the corner. That's where you really feel it.
That's the battle for 7th. Elliott Sadler taking it away from Tony Stewart. Elliott Sadler off the dramatic finish at Talladega 1 week ago. Here is our Miller Lite race fact. Jeff Gordon came to the first Kansas race in 2001 with a championship lead. He left with his 6th and final win of the 2001 season on the way to his 4th championship. But Wally, as you talked about earlier, this is a track that has been tough on guys contending for the Cup.
Yeah, this place has been a lot of guys running for that championship.
And Dave, this 48 car doesn't appear to be much better.
No, they don't know what's wrong right now, but we did check that right front tire when it came off of Jimmy Johnson's car, and it was okay. They feel good about the way the tires look, so there was not that problem. But again, Jimmy thinking something was funny in the front end of that car. They're keeping an eye on it.
You know what, Dave? Just looking at that car going through the corner, especially 1 and 2, it looks like it's bouncing. Like it's almost a shock problem, or maybe the front tires are chattering. But you could see the hood on that car. It was really, really bouncing.
Jimmy Johnson currently 11th on the racetrack. One of the drivers eligible for the Nextel Cup. But he has had a difficult time of it lately in some of these races, trying to make up ground and recover from some of their losses today.
If it's our own fault, if it's been racing luck, whatever it's been, we just haven't had it. And if we can get that back, we'll be fine. We'll be in good shape. But we can't lose any sleep over it. We've tried so hard. We've put everything that we possibly could put into this championship. We've done it, and we're just going to keep doing that, give 100%, and sleep well at the end of the year, regardless of how this plays out. Because we're doing all that we can, and we have been. And we get some lady luck on our side, we'll be back in good shape.
You might sleep well at the end of the season, but I don't think they're sleeping too well now.
No. He was up in the booth with us yesterday during the NASCAR Busch Series race. An overview of this whole speedway while the race goes on. He and Chad Canals also came up as crew chief and said he had never seen this side of the racetrack from up here. He said, racetrack, this mile-and-a-half track looks awfully small.
Dave, what do you got?
I was talking to Chad in the garage this morning, and car owner Rick Hendrick walked up, and I asked him, did you see your boy yesterday on TV? And he said, yeah. Has he got a future in it? And I said, nah, not yet. And Rick said, good, because I need him for a few more years.
Chad and Jimmy teaming up to run in the Busch Series next Friday night at Charlotte.
And there's our Nextel Cup leader, Kurt Busch. He's currently running in back 12 position. I mentioned he was running 9th, but he used the fuel mileage to stay out. All the other leaders pitted. He got 5 bonus points for leading a lap.
And the way this thing is going, that fuel mileage could turn out to be
big.
Oh, it did last year, didn't it?
Yep. It has at this track. It has a history of that. Dave.
97 team coming off a very busy 2 weeks here. They tested here at Kansas. They tested at Charlotte and Martinsville. Jimmy Fennig, the crew chief, had told me, this chase for the championship feels like kind of a break, kind of a relief, but I know these testing weeks coming up are going to drain us. I spoke with him this morning, and he said, we're not drained, but we're very satisfied with the testing we've done, and we're happy to go to Kansas, and next week to Charlotte, and then Martinsville. They are ready.
It has been a good day for Casey Kane in Kansas. He continues to lead in the Banquet 400. You're watching NASCAR on NBC. NBC Sports is at the Kansas Speedway in Kansas City for the 30th race of the Nextel Cup season. With the number 9 car, Casey Kane continues to lead. He has led 26 laps.
Hey, you know what? Trust me, folks, you couldn't hurt that hair with a hammer and a chisel.
Alan, hope you get a chuckle out of that. Talked with him on the phone this morning. We got a big plan. We're busting him out. He will be in Charlotte with us next week. Take care, buddy.
Casey Kane, what he wants to do. And then a lot of that clean or free air we talk about a lot. He kind of got behind Bobby Labonte there and just kind of parked there. He really hasn't tried to go up there and pass him. I think he's running a good race pace, and he's not around a lot of cars.
But it's that air situation you talked about earlier. You get back there and you lose that full complement of air, and your car handles so much different.
And Biffle thought he had a tire going down, apparently does not, but is really fighting that race car. Here's what he said just a moment ago on his radio.
Just burning the right rear off it. I mean, this is no grip at the back of the car at all.
You know what? I mean, that happened yesterday in the Busch race. I got a set of tires that were awful. And it was like, what did you guys do? And they're like, man, we didn't really do anything. So it was like, well, let's get them off as fast as we can. So sometimes you just get a set of tires that just don't work as good as the set before.
Marty, you got a little more?
Well, and sometimes you make an adjustment the driver just doesn't like. Isn't that right, Wally?
Yeah, we did that too.
Well, and Greg said, have we ever benefited by taking air pressure out of the front tires? And Doug Richard, the crew chief, said one time, he said, well, let's not try it again. How about that?
Yeah, those guys down there, I mean, the crew guys, they're trying anything they can. They're hoping to stumble on something. Like you talked earlier, Marty, about the 8 car. Those guys, Earnhardt found something. And, you know, they're going to try something every once in a while. Hopefully they'll catch on it. And that's all you need to beat everybody.
And here's a guy that's having a terrific run. Casey Mears in that pink and white car.
I'm sorry, I was just going to say, if you're driving a pink car, you better go fast, don't you think?
He started 21st, and he's run very good. Up to 4th spot.
Marty, what about this 41 car?
I agree with Bill. If you drive a pink car, you better go fast because, you know, the guys are having fun with Casey, and there's a great cause that they're doing on the target car. A little bit tight earlier. He came on the radio and said, you guys freed it up just right. It feels really good. Now he says, I need a little more front-end grip. And BP, you talked about momentum earlier with Brendan gone. These guys finished 8th last week at Talladega. It was their first top 10 in the last 7 races. Casey told me this morning, momentum means everything.
Seeing here, these guys are finally, Ward cuts him a little slack.
All right, the 21 car Rudd about to lose a spot.
Oh, hang on there, Elliott.
Might lose more than a spot.
That was a moment.
Yeah, he was. Exactly.
I think Rudd gave him a little bit there, and here comes Mark Martin.
Dave, you got something on the 21?
Well, he's up there running right now where he doesn't like to run on this track. In 3 and 4, talked about earlier how he was running high and didn't like that. Checking in with the crew this morning, Lynn Wood from the Wood Brothers, part of their team, said to me that, you know, this is the best we've run in a long time. We came off the truck good on Friday. They were fastest in first practice. They're making small steps toward progress here with new crew chief Fatback McSwain. And after Dover, last week was kind of an anomaly, but this week in Dover, really showing what they're capable of.
And Mark Martin, we watched him be passed by these cars, what, 10, 15 laps ago? We said his car was loose, but it would get better. He's going back by these cars now.
Yeah, you'll have some cars that are good on what you'll hear the guys talk about the short run. When they put good, fresh tires on it, their cars are really fast for the first 25 or 30 laps, and they lose the handle. Then you have guys like Mark Martin, who they're set up for the long run. They're set up for their tires to work better and their car to be better at the end of the last 30 laps of the run.
Mark Martin to 6th.
All right, here we are, battle for the lead. Biffle, the 16 car. He may be loose, but he is fast. He's caught the 9 car, and looks like to me he's going to take the lead down the back stretch.
And the fastest lap last time.
No, the 9 car's not giving in. Yeah, I guess he gave it to him there, but boy, if you get a car that's just like Biffle has, if the car stayed on the outside of you, it could make it real tough for you to make that pass.
And Biffle has tires that are about 10 laps newer than the 9 car, and that does make a difference.
Matt, what do you got on the 9?
He is starting to lose the grip on the front. He already asked Tommy Baldwin, let's look at making a track bar adjustment. Let's go up, try to make me a little more free at the beginning of the run, so that way the car won't be as tight as it is at the end. They should pit somewhere around lap 119 to 120.
You know, sometimes, I mean, that's your theory, but sometimes that doesn't work. I've heard a lot of that happen. You try to start out loose, hoping your car is going to go to the tight side, but sometimes you start out loose, and it gets even more loose at the end of the run.
On board with Robbie Gordon for the...
Whoa, Robbie's up there in the marbles.
What is the most important element in winning a race?
Folks, you're a very intelligent group. I agree with you wholeheartedly.
You being a driver would. You have to use your head to get ahead in the next Cup Series. And that's exactly what Greg Biffle has done, taking his car right to the front at Kansas. NBC Sports at the Kansas Speedway for the Banquet 400, where Greg Biffle continues to lead, followed by Casey Kane, Jeremy Mayfield, Ryan Newman, and Casey Mears. Biffle's car is good, and he seems to believe he can make it even better.
And you know what? He's about to put his teammate Matt Kenseth, the 17 car, and Rusty Wallace, the 2, a lap down.
Kenseth is 21st. Rusty is 20th. Matt had the tire rub earlier in the race.
Look, it's still rubbing a little bit. Looking for Casey Kane to be hitting pit lane here pretty quick.
Marty,
Just not a good go of it for the 17 bunch so far today, Bill. The loose in, loose tight, or loose off, tight in the middle, won't turn for Matt. Very unhappy right now. It's actually one of his favorite race cars, same one that won at Las Vegas, and he picked this over a brand new car when they tested here 2 weeks ago, but handling just not what it needs to be right now.
Casey Kane out of sequence with the rest of the field is forced to pit early. This is the second time this has happened. Coming to Matt.
Making his way to a stop. Look to see, you can see the wrench going in the back window. They're going to make a track bar adjustment. A good crank on that. Nick Odell around to the left front of the car. Casey stalls the car. Refires as Joe Trushak hits the lugs on the left rear. He's wet.
Good stop to those guys. Wow. But once again, he's going to be a lap down to the leader, Greg Biffle. He just got to hope that the caution flag doesn't wave between now and all the rest of the leaders make their stop.
And we have been caution-free since lap 20. That's 101 laps ago. And you talked about the pressure, the crew chiefs talking about the pressure. How about those guys pulling off the pit stops?
Yes, those tire changers, tire carriers.
And we believe Greg Biffle will be coming to pit road in about 12 laps. We'll step aside. If anything happens, we'll break in. You're watching NASCAR on NBC. NBC's coverage of the Banquet 400 is brought to you by Budweiser. It's time for a fresh one. Grab a Budweiser. The race is on. By Dodge. You can take life as it comes, or you can grab life by the horns. Dodge. By Banquet Crock Pot Classics. Slow cooking just got easier. And by Enterprise Rent-A-Car. Call 1-800-RENT-A-CAR. Pick Enterprise. We'll pick you up. 128 laps complete here at the Kansas Speedway. Greg Biffle continues to lead. He got by his teammate Matt Kenseth, and the next car to be lapped, the 24 of Jeff Gordon.
Did he get loose, or is that just my imagination?
Well, you've got a pretty vivid imagination, but I think the fact he was sideways might have something to do with that.
Loose that time.
Well, Shane Miller, he tried to turn under the 23 car and just turn it dead left, and they don't like that. How about this 24, Matt?
Jeff Gordon told me Saturday this is the same race car that he won the Brickyard 400 back in August. He also told me it's a very finicky race car. Hard to find just that right balance, but when you do, it's unbelievable. Unfortunately, he hasn't found it. The car loose on entry, tight in the center. It is horrible.
Well, if that 16 car gets any close to that rear bumper of 24 Jeff Gordon, he's going to find out what loose is really like. Oh, he's going to try the high side.
That 16 car Biffle hasn't ventured up there very much today, but that didn't work too well.
No, I think he's going to have to get Gordon loose and drive underneath him.
The two of Rusty Wallace got lapped, so Rusty hits pit road.
Biffle has a 3.5 second lead over Jeremy Mayfield.
Biffle's coming to pit road in about a lap or two. And that's when the fun will really begin.
Sound like he's going to make a pit stop this lap. Yep.
Matt, about the two.
Rusty Wallace is expected to be making another visit to pit road, Bill. As he pulled out of his box to leave, he left something very important. The right side window.
Right. Oh, man. Marty.
Well, of course, we've chronicled the travails of Greg Biffle here. Put the air pressure back where it was. They're going to do a wedge adjustment here. Way too loose at the beginning of the run. The car takes too long to come in for Biffle, but still he was 2/10 faster than everyone on the racetrack. That's scary, because if they ever hit it right where Biffle wants it, they can be way faster than everyone else. Casey Mears having a terrific run behind him. Wants more front grip, a pound out of both front tires.
I wonder how the window came out of the 2 car.
You have to have one. Rusty doesn't.
There we go. They're putting it in now.
Marty, 19's on pit road.
Yeah, Jeremy Mayfield finished 3rd in this race last year, Bill, running in the top 5 right now. So the car starts out real loose, then it gets too tight. It'll be another air pressure adjustment for the 19 bunch, trying to get the car to come in quicker for Jeremy if he can get that to happen.
Good pit stop.
Both those Evernham cars have had good stops today.
Doing well.
Boy, you know your luck's bad when the right side window falls out.
Yeah, how does that happen? Hey, who is that? Was that Dave down there telling us about that, or was that Matt? Matt, maybe you can find out how that happens.
Ryan Newman's currently the leader in the 12 car. And Biffle, I wonder if it's going to come bite him later on in the race. We saw the left rear that time a little bit slower than the front. His rear tire changer, Mike Hillman, was suspended by NASCAR for the next 2 races. He's not here this week. Dave?
21 of Ricky Rudd in now. They're going to make a chassis adjustment. Wrench going in the rear window. Wood Brothers working around the car. 4 tires on for Ricky Rudd this time. Send it back off pit road.
Marty, here comes Mark Martin.
Yeah, I just talked to Pat Tryson before the pit stop, Bill. He said it takes about 10 laps for the car to come in. We saw how loose Mark's car is, though. For the first 10 laps, they're going to make no changes to the chassis. Mark very happy with it. If he can stand it for those 10 laps, it comes in very nicely, and he is just as fast as his teammate Greg Biffle. Good stop going so far for the 16. About 12 and a half seconds put on the left side tires. 14.4 on the stop, Dave.
48 car of Jimmy Johnson not running. He was out of fuel when he came to pit road. They had the car refired. Now it dies the second time. 4 tire change for Jimmy as well, but the biggest problem is getting it refired. Spraying into the carburetor, trying to get it refired at this point. The guys will push as well. Full of fuel, he guns it. Gets out of here, long stop.
He really dodged the bullet on that one. That could have been a lot worse. Normally it takes a lot longer to get those cars refired, so they got lucky on that one.
They were able to squirt some starting fluid down in the carburetor, and it caught. Dave?
97 car of Kurt Busch, the current points leader on pit road. Kurt had been complaining about his car. They will go to the work now on that car, try to make it better for Kurt. Marty?
The second place man in the championship pits with the championship leader, Earnhardt Jr., and a quick stop for the 8-bunch. Car great in, little great off, just a little bit tight in the center. He said we have to get back to basics and air pressure adjustment, trying to loosen that car up just a little bit in the middle of the corner.
Working our way through the second round of green flag
we
pit
got another
stops.
guy spinning pit entrance. Shane?
Yes, it is. Shane Meal.
And no caution flag because he's able to get the car righted and pull into his pit.
And he will be held 1 lap for that. The spin on pit road will result in a 1-lap penalty from NASCAR, and he will be held there. So that's one of the things you learn when you're a rookie, how to get on and off of pit road.
Yeah, 2 rookies do that. No.
Ward was the other one.
Ward was the other one.
But we have seen a lot of guys have trouble over the last few weeks getting onto pit road. Here comes Ryan Newman, was scored as the race leader, 137 laps down. And he heads for his pit. Winner at Dover 2 weeks ago. And a contender in the chase for the championship. Dave.
Ryan Newman said the biggest balance issue I have is in turns 3 and 4 on lap 119. Your radio is definitely tight right now. They're going to take a half a round out of the left, going to take a half a pound out of the left rear tire and make a wedge adjustment as well for Ryan. Over 10 now, 11 seconds on the stop. Matt?
Jeff Gooch Patterson making a wedge adjustment for Tony Stewart. The team is making headway, but the car is still too free at the beginning of the run, losing too much time. He says the car is a lot faster when it's tighter. Meanwhile, pole sitter Joe Nemechek, and they've already made a chassis adjustment on Nemechek. He's still trying to find that right balance. The car still on the tight side. His tires are on, Dave.
Dorothy and Toto and Elliott Sadler making a stop on pit road right now. He said, I'm sliding the nose in the middle of the corner. That's my biggest issue. They will make a wedge and air pressure adjustment for Elliott. A 4-tire stop as well. Finishing up. Oh, he stalls it. He stalls it. Trying to refire now. He's gone.
That's the 84 of Kyle Busch, slow on the racetrack. Dale Jarrett on pit road, Marty.
And Bill, don't forget about the 88 bunch. Very fast times at the end of that run for Dale Jarrett. A little too loose to start the run. A quarter round of wedge in the left rear, trying to tighten up the beginning of the run. DJ in one of his favorite cars.
Right front flat. Mark Martin looks like he's got a right front flat, perhaps.
Sure does. Caution is out. Caution on the Speedway.
Oh, man, what a tough break for Mark Martin. Tire is flat. He had no choice.
Wow, the field frozen on lap 140.
That's a brake blow, it looks like.
Yeah, or brake pad.
And you wonder if Mark hit that.
It cut the right front.
Yep.
Hopefully it didn't come out of Mark's car.
That's a good point, too. That's a heartbreaking development for Mark. And running in the top 10 most of the day. And we're hearing that might have come off the 84 when he brushed the wall, and he's gone back to the garage. See, the right side is flat.
Anytime these cars hit the wall anymore, they break that brake rotor on the right front, and it scatters every place. We saw that at Bristol just a couple of Dover, I guess it was.
Yeah, Dover.
Every place that brake rotor scattered.
So Kyle Busch trying to gain some Nextel Cup experience. Back in the garage, finished for the day. And the pace car goes out to capture the field. Let's check in with Marty.
Just the obliterated tires from Mark Martin's car, and he did hit the brake rotor from Kyle Busch's car with the right front and the right rear tire. That's what brought him to pit road. Tough break for these guys. They clearly had one of the best cars on the racetrack.
But he had no choice.
Yeah.
You can't drive around the racetrack on that.
Don't count him out yet.
The lucky dog will be Dale Earnhardt Jr.
Thank you too much. I think that's way too much, changing all that. 1 pound all the way around. Yeah, pit second time by. I'm going up 1 pound all the way around.
Pit road is still closed.
I don't wish you wouldn't do that, but that's all right. I don't think we need to go up on air
We'll be back
pressure,
for pit stops. You're watching NASCAR on NBC.
Stops underway here at the Kansas Speedway. Casey Kane, 5 times he's finished second. Now he is back on sequence with the leaders as they make an adjustment. Track bar on the 9, Dave.
Kurt Busch still very unhappy with his car. They make a chassis and an air pressure adjustment to try to sort out a complex chassis issue for Kurt.
There's a 48 of Jimmy Johnson, also on pit road.
Guys, he is on pit road. They're making a change for Jimmy as well. He just radioed into his crew. The car is still bound up through the center of the corner. It won't rotate. It won't make that transition from going in and getting off the corner. So they're going to make an adjustment to try to fix that.
Now, a number of guys did not stop here. We'll sort that out for you in a second, but let's update you on what happened with Mark Martin.
Yeah, we'll watch Kyle Busch here, right here, bounce off the wall. Now just watch all the pieces and parts start to fly from underneath the car. Here's Mark. Okay, now that rotor right there coming down the racetrack, Mark's going to hit with his right front tire. Boom, right there. That's what cut the right front.
Now watch and listen.
Right there.
It also got the right rear of Mark Martin's car. Jeremy Mayfield scored as the race leader, followed by Greg Biffle, Mears, Jarrett, and Newman. Dale Earnhardt Jr.'s pit crew not only captured Sunday's McDonald's drive-through pit championship fueled by Powerade at Talladega, but the number 8 crew also took over the competition's point lead among the teams competing. And that championship pays $200,000. So congratulations to the 8 bunch. It's a narrow lead.
That's pretty close.
Yeah. We're still under caution here at the Kansas Speedway. Take advantage of this opportunity to work in a few more commercials. Come back for the green flag. You're watching NASCAR on NBC. Under caution here at the Banquet 400 at the Kansas Speedway, the 3rd caution flag of the day. This brought out after Kyle Busch hit the wall and Mark Martin basically punctured both of his right side tires. So working caution here, we get down to Marty.
Talladega was a racetrack to forget for Elliott Sadler, at least where the fall is concerned, and that is the subject of our Built Ford Tough moment today. This was last year, the 2003 wreck with Elliott Sadler flipping upside down the backstretch. NASCAR took that car back to their Research and Development Center, learned from that, and then this year, last lap of the race, Elliott Sadler flips again. This time with much less spectacularity, and much less spectacular, I should say. Elliott, they measured that car, NASCAR did, and Elliott popped out of the roof hatch. I asked him about it this morning. He said, you know, last year's or this year's was much better than last year's, but I think I've done enough flipping in my lifetime. BP, did you ever flip over in a race car?
No.
That's good, because Elliott said it's not a fun thing to do.
Imagine not. Working caution on lap 148. And here's what we've seen so far. Listen to Sterling Marlin's start.
The yoke broke on the rear gear.
That is an ugly sound.
He's going to need some new parts. Sterling spent a long time behind the wall. Lap 15, Carl Edwards. Dictionary definition of loose.
Perfect, though. Didn't hit anything.
That brought out the caution. Jeff Gordon's team
leaves an adjustment wrench in the rear. He will have to come back in, start at the rear of the field.
Very crowded pit road. Lap 78. Ward Burton, no brakes. This'll help.
That'll help slow you down going around and around.
But Dale Earnhardt Jr. was right behind him and was in a big hurry to get to his pit stall. And just a few laps ago, Kyle Busch hits the wall. All kinds of parts and pieces fall out. And Mark Martin hits him and punctures both his right side tires. And that's what brought out the third caution of the day. Here is our Napa Field summary for the Banquet 400. 8 different leaders, 15 lead changes, just 3 caution periods. We went about 121 laps of green flag racing between cautions number 2 and 3. 7 cars out of the race. Dave Burns, an update on Jimmy Johnson.
Yeah, Bill, Jimmy's been on pit road 3 times during this caution period. I checked with crew chief Chad Knaus to see what was going on. First one was routine. They're trying to make adjustments on this car, which is very, very tight. But he did sort of, in a disgusted sort of tone, say, we're just not good right now. I think there's something going on with the front end that they're not sure about. And Chad says we're just going to top off with fuel until we go back to green and see if maybe we can catch a break that way and pick up some track position by being able to stay out longer than anybody else.
Getting ready for the restart on lap 143, Casey Kane, Terry Labonte, Ricky Rudd, Kurt Busch, Jamie McMurray, Jimmy Johnson, Joe Nemechek, and Earnhardt Jr., the lucky dog, all pitted. Everybody else basically on the lead lap stayed out. Jeremy Mayfield inherits the lead. Craig Biffle second, Mears third, the green's out.
This always gets interesting.
Oh,
Yes, it does.
Because caution flags will breed caution flags.
You got guys on fresh tires, you got guys on older tires.
You got guys 3 wide going down the backstretch.
It doesn't work.
We all know they won't fit, but somehow they did.
Guys want their lap back.
Matt, how about this 30 car?
GP right in the middle of this gaggle of cars. He started 17th, run 17th. The concern is not about the chassis, it's about the weather. Richard Childress, the owner, came on the radio under the caution, told Burton, looking at the radar, he thinks the rain is between 35 and 45 minutes away.
Wow.
Uh-oh, we got trouble.
Kurt Busch is around. Jimmy Johnson is in it.
around.
But so far, I don't think Curtis hit anything, nor Jimmy. Wow. Man, now that's how you win championships. Spin around in amongst 15 cars and not get hit.
When we talk about turn 2, biting championship guys, almost got 2 of them right
Somebody
there.
did that on before the race. Oh, that was you, wasn't
That
it?
was something.
Yeah, how about that?
I looked it up so you didn't have to.
I appreciate you doing that. I hope to get back to doing that next week.
Now, does Kurt have some flat tires? Yes, he's coming straight to pit road. Right front tire is flat.
And Mark Martin will be the lucky dog, so he will get back on the lead lap.
Now, that was lucky.
Yes, it was. That was good luck.
It's about time, don't you think?
For that 6 bunch, yeah.
Whenever you get cars like that on a restart, it's always trouble. See what happened? Oh, he just lost it.
He sure did.
Busch just got loose and basically lost it in front of the rest of the field.
Look at all these cars, and someone, I guess, runs in the back of the 48 and sends Jimmy Johnson around. And I'm telling you, you just can't do this. You couldn't do that 1 time in 100 and not be hit.
And this is a huge break for the cars that restarted on the tail end of the lead lap.
He did the same thing in California. Remember that? The 97 car?
Ricky Rudd did a good job there.
Watch the 8 of Earnhardt Jr.
Stay in front of you. Go low, go low, go low. Yeah, you're doing good.
Did you see some of that yesterday, Wally?
All day yesterday.
That was Steve Meal, the spotter for the 8 car.
Pit road is closed, but Matt Kenseth, Michael Waltrip, Brendan Gaughan, Bobby Labonte, Jeff Gordon, and Jeff Burton all get their lap back. So it'll be a crowd on the lead lap when we come back to Kansas.
USA Today is the place for a comprehensive look at motorsports. Get all the latest stats, standings, and race results to keep up with your favorite teams and drivers. Pick up a copy of USA Today every day.
Where'd that voice come from?
Where's he?
Oh, see, Alan is everywhere, even while recouping with a broken leg at home. Able to get in the USA Today message.
You know, I'm wondering why these leaders did not pit.
Yeah, I'm with you, BP, because it would be a good gamble if they feel dead.
Maybe these caution flags, they can make... Hey, look at this. About the points battle now.
As they run, Earnhardt Jr. started the day 12 behind.
He's gained a point.
Yep.
Look at Jeff Gordon. With all his troubles, he's still only 41 out. Ryan Newman picked up 3 spots as they run.
Matt Kenseth slipping. Jeremy Mayfield, though, climbed back within 200. Marty.
Well, Bill or BP, do you want me to ask for you? See why they're not pitting?
Yeah.
All right, Kenny Francis, why did you not pit this time?
Well, we had about 10 laps on our tires there, and just all these cautions. If we were to pit there, a bunch of cars were going to stay out. We'd have been way in the back, lost our track position, and you can't really run very good back there. So we just needed to stay out and do what we could do.
Hey, Marty, ask him if he can make it on one more stop.
Could you have made it on one more stop from here? BP wants to know.
I don't think we can from here.
Would have been too tight, BP, and the track position just too important these days.
That's what I'm concerned about. I mean, I think they can make it from one from here, not from where they were before. Yeah.
If they stopped here.
If they stop now, if they could make, we'll see how it pays out.
Well, guess what?
They ain't going to stop now.
They didn't know, because the green flag's about to come out, and Mayfield will take them to the start finish line. Lap 156. We begin working lap 157.
Oh, Harvick wants that lap back. There, he's got it at the moment. See if Rusty can follow through.
And just to make it clear, there are a number of different pit strategies working in this race right now. Mayfield has not stopped since lap 132.
Looks like Rusty Wallace so far got his lap back.
Jeremy Mayfield's car, the 19, I don't believe works very well on the top of the racetrack, and these lap cars have forced him up there. And look, here comes the lead.
Yep.
Check this out.
Casey Mears on the bottom. I think you're right, BP. Jeremy's car does not look like it works that good up top, and Casey Mears on the bottom. Couldn't pull it off there.
Mears last stopped on lap 131, 26 laps ago.
That's some horsepower right there in the 41 car.
All right, he has the lead. Jeremy will probably go down the bottom of the racetrack and try to get his car handling again. On the groove that he's been running most of the day.
Marty. An impressive run for Casey Mears. We've talked about it a few times. Started 21st. Now he's up in the lead. I talked to Jimmy Elledge. He said we've progressively gotten the car better throughout the day. He said it was just about as good as it could be on that last run. He is, though, better at the beginning of the run than most of the other cars. You'll see cars like Jeremy Mayfield, Dale Jarrett. They'll get better at the end of the run than Casey is.
There is a tremendous amount of traffic all over this racetrack right now. Mayfield thinking about coming back.
Yeah, this is his line. Casey Mears will probably run better on top than Jeremy Mayfield does.
As Jeremy may be picking up that arrow push right now behind the 41 car, Casey Mears. Uh-oh, Casey doesn't want to block himself in.
Got trapped in traffic, but worked around the 29.
Something wrong with the 29. I saw some fluid up on one of the cameras. He's got
definitely
problems.
off the pace.
There is water coming out of the back of that car. Thought I saw some water hit one of those in-car cameras, so 29 car is in trouble.
Marty, what do you got?
Harvick has not said a word on the radio. The team, he just now comes on the radio. They're asking him what his temps are right now. They do know a water is coming out, and 250 and going up on the water is what he said. 250 and going up.
250 and going out.
And leaving the car.
Yeah, so he gets out of the groove, and he will head for pit road. And then probably to the garage in the truck.
Water's completely out of control here.
Yeah, we know why. Back to the front, Casey Mears. Had that good run at Watkins Glen where he finished 4th. Then 8th last week at Talladega.
So now there are 19 cars down there where we have been accustomed to seeing him all day long.
Well, that 41 team really has turned it around, haven't they? These guys are doing a great job.
Jimmy Elledge and the crew chief on the 41, the entire crew.
Mayfield still looking.
Ryan Newman, the 12 car, going by Dale Jarrett. Trying to go by about the 4th spot. What the 29 car, Marty?
It's a water pump issue. They think BP, they're putting clean, fresh water in it right now, trying to cool it down. They said, let's put it in and let's see how long we can get it to live for the rest of the day.
I'm guessing.
How long?
Yes. I'm taking the under.
That would be my guess as well.
Yes, sir. Rusty Wallace.
Yeah, he lost his lap. He's still a lucky dog if he can stay there. And the yellow comes out.
Casey Mears, that car pink for several races in the month of October to help promote breast cancer awareness. And as we talked about yesterday in our happy hour show, television does not do that pink justice.
Rusty Wallace actually a couple laps there. I think
is he?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Bobby Hamilton Jr. currently the first car not on the lead lap.
Both those number 1 and 2 cars better hurry because Biffle is... He's coming. There he is right there.
Greg Biffle in the 16.
16, 9, 19. They have consistently they've been the class of the field.
Casey King, there he is. He's 9th.
Okay.
Matt?
BP, remember back on lap 120 when Casey Kane pitted and I told you that his car stuttered and stalled? He had just completed 61 laps. They pitted again on lap 143, had some caution flag laps. Now, I know Weber is good at math. You do the math. They only have to stop. What Tommy Baldwin feels like is one more time, somewhere around lap 204, and then they can hopefully go the distance.
That's exactly what the point I was trying to make. I don't understand why some of these leaders did not stop because several cars can make it. Fast cars, I believe, can make it on one more stop. I don't believe that the 16, 19, those cars can.
Right.
I think they didn't want to give up track position.
Well, I mean, that's a good call, but if you can go and lose that track position, if it goes green the whole way and you only have to stop one more time, you're going to make a ton of track position up.
The 24 of Jeff Gordon was 16th prior to that last caution, but did not pit, restarted 11th.
That's where he is, 11th.
Right behind him, Dale Earnhardt Jr. And Jr. has been in the news ever since taking the checkered flag last Sunday at Talladega. His victory lane conversation with Matt Yoakum, he used an expletive, was fined $10,000 and 25 points, a move consistent with what NASCAR had done earlier in the season for a very similar violation. The teams were warned at Rockingham early in the year that they should watch their language on television and on radio. Junior is appealing the fine and the penalty. He wants his points back. He couldn't care less about the cash. What do you guys think?
Wallace? Well, battle for the lead. Meanwhile, Jeremy Mayfield trying to take over the lead. Go ahead, Wallace.
I think NASCAR is being consistent. They've been accused of not being consistent, playing favorites. I think they're doing the right thing. I don't agree with taking points, but you've got to find these guys $150,000 or $200,000 to get their attention. That's what they need to do. I don't like them taking away points, but you know, I also think that we need to be accountable. We need to hold ourselves to a higher standard. I think NASCAR is doing a good job. In the NFL, Jamal Lewis plea bargained out of a drug conspiracy case and gets suspended 2 games. That's a joke. I think our sport's a clean sport. It's a family sport, and I'm glad NASCAR has drawn the line. And these guys knew the rules going in. Either play by the rules or you go play somewhere else.
You know, they had to do it because they had to be consistent. Okay, they're taking points off the rules. He says they shouldn't do that. The team says, well, that was the driver situation. That was not anything to do with the team. They shouldn't penalize the team. When Junior is in victory lane with a Budweiser uniform on, he is the team. Now, if he goes to the truck and changes clothes, comes back with sandals and shorts, yeah, he can say anything he wants to. That's not a team deal.
But what they're doing with the points, don't you agree, PP? They're trying to get the driver's attention.
And they did.
And they did. But don't you think they would get the driver's attention in their wallet if a $10,000 fine? These guys make that one appearance. If you get their attention, you got to get their attention with a stronger fine.
Well, I mean, $250,000 would that get their attention? Maybe.
I think it would, and it wouldn't hurt the team.
But not as much as 25 points.
Yeah, but you're hurting. But, you know, I just think you're hurting the.
But he is the team.
You're right. He is the team. But I think if you made the fine where it was $200,000, I believe that would get your attention. Get my attention.
Well, $10,000 to get my attention.
I couldn't pay you the $250,000. So what difference does that make?
Biffle's getting everybody's attention.
Yes, he is.
Inside of Casey Mears, and here comes the 19 of Mayfield.
Man, this 16 car is good.
He is right. Well, the 41's going to give a little bit more. See if he can stay close to him going into the corner. No.
Boy.
Loses the nose, drives up the racetrack.
We'll be back. So Greg Biffle takes his 16 car back to the front of the field. 173 laps on the board. Biffle leads at Kansas. 179 laps on the board at the Kansas Speedway. The 30th race of the Nextel Cup season. The 4th race in the chase for the championship. And Greg Biffle, second here yesterday by a nose, out in front this afternoon. The first micro power shaving system from Gillette, the new M3 Power. It's the new power behind the Gillette Young Guns, and here's how they are running currently.
Normally we see one of those guys in the first 3 spots. But right now, Ryan Newman, the first of the Young Gun, in 5th.
And look at Kurt Busch and Matt Kenseth. Greg Biffle leads 181 laps. Working here at Kansas, let's take you through the field and start with Marty.
Yeah, Bill, this is a team starting to build some consistency with 4 top 11s in their last 7 races. Greg won, of course, at Michigan, driving that same exact car today. The chassis, very good. They just came on the radio and told him, though, we have to make 2 stops, cannot make it on just 1 more stop today. They just told Jeremy Mayfield on the radio in 2nd place, take care of your car. They, too, have to make 2 stops, a team that needs a very good run in the chase for the championship. 26-year-old Casey Mears having an excellent run. Jimmy Elliott just told me we'll fall back right now. They're in the 3rd position, but we should get better the longer the run goes. The 88 car of Dale Jarrett having a terrific day. He has never finished a Kansas race. 3 DNFs, currently in the 4th position with a great chassis. Dave?
12 car of Ryan Newman. He is the tightest he's been all day, according to the driver. Crew Chief Matt Borland, radio back, will take a big step on balance on the next stop. Matt?
Casey Kane trying to knock down his first career win. He told Crew Chief Tommy Baldwin, I need the nose of the car to be a little more positive. Tommy told him, we have a set of scuffed tires, a set of tires they worked in a little bit during the final practice, waiting for you on our final stop, and we will fix that. Dave.
Ricky Rudd last stopped on the lap 140 debris caution. Restarted this time in 7th place after taking on 4 tires that last time. Hasn't really gone anywhere, but he's maintaining that top 10 position. Marty?
Dave, Jamie McMurray's in the 8th position, driving his favorite race car, and currently his favorite race car is a little too loose for his liking. But all these teams start the car loose. They tend to get better. Same is the case for Jamie the longer they run. Matt?
And Tony Stewart, he's been quiet on the radio since his last stop. So Crew Chief Greg Zabinelli is not sure whether they have actually fixed the race car from their last adjustments, but Dave, he's running 9th.
Elliott Sadler restarted in the top 10 during this run. He is still in 10th position right now. His car was tight. They adjusted on it, got a little bit loose. It's gone tight again, so battling a little bit of the handling in the 38 car. Bill?
Greg Biffle continues to lead, Dave, and again, we will point out there are 3 different pit sequences working here. Some guys stopped around lap 131, 132, some around 143, and some around 154. So 3 different types of pit strategies playing themselves out here in Kansas. Back through the field to Marty.
And Dale Earnhardt Jr. in the 11th position. It wasn't too long ago. He was down a lap, got a lucky dog, got the lap back. They can pit at lap 201. They can make it on 1 more stop. Still too tight in the center for the 8 bunch, Matt.
Same scenario, Marty, for the 30th. Jeff Burton, 4 tires, no adjustments on his last stop. Back on lap 153. 13th here last year. Dave, he's running 12th.
48 car of Jimmy Johnson. He radioed into his crew, whatever you guys did on those last stops has really helped a lot. What they did was make a series of air pressure and chassis adjustments designed to correct the situation for Jimmy, and it appears to be working, Matt.
Joe Nemechek, the pole sitter, 4 tires and fuel, no changes. Back on lap 153, he had the pit, went through the grass, no damage.
Kurt Busch brought out the last caution and described to his crew a condition he's found before on his car, according to Kurt. It just snapped loose on him. He said it's happened 2 or 3 times earlier this year, and I don't like it. Matt? Marty?
Dave just passed by his teammate Mark Martin, and while he called it on the head, he's in 15th right now. Don't count him out. Remember, they ran over the brake rotor, lost both right side tires. Mark has not said a word about the car, but it's clearly very fast. Matt?
Jeff Gordon, 2 wins here at Kansas. He told me Saturday, this is the kind of place where you need to capitalize with this championship format. Places where you are strong, you can't afford to give up any points. He has battled back, Marty. He is currently in the 17th position.
Michael Waltrip behind him, Matt, in the 18th position, dropping race car this weekend that he called wild earlier. Since then, the car's gotten a lot better. They've been battling a tight race car off of the corner for most of the day. Matt Kenseth came on the last stop, finally fixed that left front fender because smoke was starting to come into the car. They just can't get the front end to stop chattering, and he's loose off the corners. A lot of problems right now for the 17, Matty.
Bobby Labonte just needs something good to happen for he and his 18 team. They've been back and forth between loose and tight this afternoon. They pitted back on lap 154 for 4 tires.
Brother Terry now getting pressure from Brendan Gaughan. He's lost a couple of spots since the restart. They did stop for 4 tires on that last caution. Did not make any chassis adjustments. Matt?
Last car in the lead lap, Brendan Gaughan trying to work on a top 20. The car started tight as he just passes Terry Labonte, trying to make up more room, track position on this run. He says the car is tightening up a little bit, guys.
Well done, gentlemen. And I can tell you, that's tough to do. That's a good job, especially here at this track. Greg Biffle last pitted on lap 131. How far can he go? When will he come in? We'll find out when NBC comes back to Kansas. NBC's coverage of the Banquet 400 is brought to you by TGI Fridays. Check out the new Jack Daniel's Flat Iron Steak from TGI Fridays, because everyone could use more Fridays. By Wrangler, makers of Wrangler Jeans Company, a new generation of Wrangler. By new M3 Power from Gillette, the new power behind the Gillette Young Guns. And by YJ Stinger, the extreme energy drink. Catch the buzz and feel the sting. Bill Weber, along with Wally Dallenbach, Benny Parsons, Dave Burns, Marty Schneider, Matt Yoakum, and our entire NBC NASCAR family here at Kansas. And the leader is on pit road, Greg Biffle. On lap 195, last pitted on 131 to Marty.
Probably about 2 laps earlier than they expected to stop, Bill, but the car a little bit tight for Biffle right now at the end of that run. He can't go quite as early as he would like to. You know, you drivers, well, you want to go right from the beginning of a run, don't you? Car just too loose from that. They put on scuff tires this time, and a caution out right now.
Caution, Marty.
Boy, that's going to hurt.
Casey Mears in the wall and continues. Marty, what do you got?
He had just come on the radio, said, guys, I'm starting to have a vibration. He had that on the first set of tires today at the very end of the run. They said, hang on to it, stay out 3 more laps. He said, I just got loose in the trial before that, and then he hit the wall on the backstretch.
But Greg Biffle had a big enough lead on Jarrett that I think he's going to stay in the lead laps with 4 fresh tires.
Wow.
How big is that?
That is lucky.
So you see the right front all torn up, and so is the right side.
Too bad, man.
Boy, that
having a good run.
He was having a good day.
Yeah, here he is. Oh, that's weird. That thing really took off the racetrack.
Right front tire went
down.
And there's brake rotor every place.
There's the rotor.
Piece flying on the racetrack.
And where's Mark Martin? Stay out of the way, Mark. Wow, right to the garage.
Bummer.
And don't get in his way because he has no brakes.
Yeah.
Now, Jeremy Mayfield, I think, pitted at the same time Greg Biffle did. He might have been lapped. We'll have to find out.
Yeah, because he came in a little bit later.
Exactly.
Came in behind Biffle.
No, he didn't. I'm told that he was able to get out and stay in the lead lap, Jeremy.
Okay. This benefits the guys you were talking about that did not come in at 153 and 154. This really helps them because their window had just opened. They were going to have to pit under green.
Exactly. Like Dale Jarrett, Casey Kane. Well, Casey Kane didn't. Newman.
Newman, Tony Stewart, Elliott Sadler.
All right, here they come.
Marty Snyder bats first with Dale Jarrett.
Indeed, Bill, they were going to have to stop in about 3 more laps for the 88 bunch. The car has just been outstanding today. They're going to go a quarter round in the left rear of Wedge, trying to tighten up that car just a little bit. It's too loose to start at the beginning of the run for Dale Jarrett, but very happy with it at the end of a run. Dave?
Ryan Newman's car went too tight, too fast. Wedge out of the left rear, into the right rear, 4 tire change, and fuel. Matt.
Wedge adjustment already completed for Casey Kane. 4 tire change. The car was tight. The Dodge boys, a little bit of trouble with the jack. Other cars are down and away. He's going to lose some spots, guys. How many?
Well, he sure is. Let's see. 1, 2, 3. Well, just 1.
Okay, well, that was a big break for Mark Martin, too, because he made up a lot of track position because of that caution, and he's got a fast race car. Riding along with Mark right there. That 6 car. Watch out.
And Mark got the most out of his tires because he had pitted on 154, so he hadn't gone as far as the others.
Let's see how many spots that Casey Kane lost. Here comes DJ. He was the leader when he came in. Casey is second, just barely over Newman, and then Tony. Jamie McMurray at 42. There's Rudd. Good stop for him. Junior. Burton. Man, where's Mark? There he is finally.
I got a stat for you on Dale Jarrett. You know how we look up stuff so everybody else doesn't have to?
Yeah.
This is the only track on the Nextel Cup circuit that Dale Jarrett does not have a top 5 finish at.
Really?
Which speaks extremely well of how he does every place and how tough this has been on him. And Patrick Perrin on our staff looked that up so you folks didn't have to. Under caution at Kansas with 69 laps to go.
Okay, babe, just let her slow down. You're okay. Hold it down there. Come on.
Still working the caution. Greg Biffle is the leader after pit stops, followed by Jeremy Mayfield, Dale Jarrett, and Casey Kane out on the racetrack. Then Ryan Newman in 5th. 1 car out of the race, the 41 and the drivers with Marty.
Yeah, Casey Mears back in the garage. Bill, you told the team you had a vibration to the tire let go before you hit the wall, Casey?
Yeah, it's coming apart. I don't know if I ran over something that's caused it to do that, but right before, when I went through the trial, I could hear a bunch of pieces hitting the inside of the fender well, and then it blew out going into 1. The set before that, I felt a little bit of vibration too, and we came in right at that time. This time we just stayed out a lap too long, I guess. Disappointing, because we just want to run good so bad, and we've ran good this year, just haven't brought it home, and it's another one we say we didn't bring it home at. But disappointed for Target. Want to say hi to everybody back home, my mom. And, we'll come back and get them. This team's really, really improving. We're getting faster and faster all the time. We showed it again today. Hopefully we can just bring one home someday.
Team that ran very well will end early today, Bill.
Thanks, Marty. Disappointing in for Casey Mears and that bunch. 22 cars on the lead lap when we come back to Kansas. Is heading into turn 4. They are coming to get the green flag with 65 laps to go. There are 22 cars on the lead lap. Greg Biffle leads, followed by Jeremy Mayfield, Dale Jarrett, Casey Kane, and Ryan Newman. Bobby Labonte, Jeff Gordon, and Matt Kenseth just topped off on lap 202. It could be a fuel mileage situation. The green is out again at Kansas.
Well, they think that they can do it.
We'll all find out together.
Yes, we will.
Well, I think there probably are cars now that can make it the rest of the way.
Other than the 3 that topped off?
Look at Biffle. What happened to his car? He got down in the corner, and here comes Vickers, the lap car on the inside. All of a sudden, the 16 car just did not get going.
I wonder if he got a little wheel spin on the restart there.
Marty, what's up?
He said too loose, too loose. They said 10-4. It'll come to you. They didn't tell him that all day, haven't they?
Jarrett to the inside of Mayfield. That's for 2nd.
When Mayfield ran up behind the 16, he was slow enough that it allowed the 88 to get up alongside of him.
Didn't want to run into him.
Yeah.
So Jarrett benefits. Dale Jarrett goes to 2nd.
Here comes Jeremy Mayfield trying to close back on the 88 car.
Boy,
then you have this mess.
Yeah, this is a mess. Tony Stewart in the 20, the 12 of Ryan Newman.
That's a battle for the 4th position.
Oh, look at that. Somebody went slide high. Oh, man, Casey Kane went through the middle. of 2 other cars coming off of 2. That's very tough to do.
I think this track is showing potential today for great racing in years to come. There is
groove is getting wide.
There's Kane in the 9, the rookie we've been talking about throughout the day. There's a mess coming off of 4, and somebody is off the pace there, and the guy's scrambling.
Shane Meal.
Yep.
Shane Meal's got trouble, and boy, everybody did a great job avoiding that.
I think Shane Meal is a car, I think, that had the problem down in turns 1 and 2 that Casey Kane had to dodge the last time. Looks like he has a flat tire. He thinks he does anyway.
Yeah, he needs to get on the wheel back and forth to see if maybe he can feel a flat tire. Uh-oh, we got some smoke coming out of a car also. 29 car of
49.
Oh, 49.
Yep. Schrader.
Coming in, too bad.
Because I'm coming in, I think he's made contact in all that mess we saw turn 4. He's made contact, knocked the fender in, and
don't knock the wall down.
Yep.
Left front flat.
Yep.
Yeah.
He's going to want a new one of those.
What you got, Schreider? Flat.
Meanwhile, back up front.
Trouble.
Ryan Newman
in the grass. Along the front stretch, the caution is out. Newman with the spin. Ends up pointed in the right direction.
Damage on the left rear of the...
That's not bad, guys. Check the right side.
And the right side right there.
Oh, he did.
Yes, he did. My bad, he said. Ryan Newman, one of the contenders in the chase for the Cup. His crew chief, Matt Borland. What did you say?
What did I say earlier? We talked about it. Talked about this track wanting to bite the championship contenders, and here's another one.
And, you know, he's a car that I think could have made it the rest of the way without any caution flag laps.
Oh, I don't doubt that with that bunch. The fuel mileage they get.
And there's Street Schrader still has tried to stay on the racetrack, and now the left front is completely flat. And we know what happens in this deal. We've seen the fires before.
It's going to be hot for the tire changer.
Pit road is closed.
Except for Schrader, he'll come in.
Take a look, get there just a little bit late. Well, that's more than a little bit.
And it looks like to me he was all by himself. We heard him say it was his bad and just came up. The car probably pushed or got loose, and he chased it up and just smacked the wall. We saw Kyle Busch do that in the 84 car earlier, something very similar to that.
Yeah, it happened way over there in the exit of turn 4. Boy, he slammed it pretty good.
On board with Robbie Gordon.
Let's see if Robbie can tell us anything. Here he goes. Got a little bit loose. He corrected the car. When he corrected the car, he saved it, but he got in the marbles, and once he hit the marbles, boom, he was in the wall.
Earnhardt Jr.
On the front straightaway, yellow's out. Yellow's out. Right.
Now, right now, Ryan Newman is 6th in the championship chase, 141 points out. Keep that fact in mind, because he really stands to lose some points here today.
He's going to listen. That car is not going to handle very well. He's not going to be fast in that car.
Here comes Biffle.
Yeah. Now, a lot of this will be gas and go stuff. Guys will just be taking gas. Some guys at the back will take tires, try and get a little fresher rubber.
Now, they're getting within their window, Marty.
In the case of Dale Jarrett, middle of your screen, he was about 4 laps short. He said, I needed a little bit of fuel. We can't take the chance here. Greg Biffle, your leader, top of your screen, he said, we've got to have fuel, but you've got to keep me in the lead, Matt.
Tony Stewart pit road in 4th. The car is tight. This is a great opportunity for Zippy to make one more adjustment. They're going to make a chassis adjustment, a wedge adjustment. Shaggy Larson trying to crank on that as Jeff Gooch Patterson tops it off, smokes away. This is a great opportunity for them because they were 2 laps shy of making it.
But they lost so much track position, Matt, by changing tires instead of just fuel.
Mayfield was the first one out, I believe.
It was a big mess at the end of pit road, too. So we'll sort it all out here at Kansas. Pit stops under caution with 57 laps to go. Yesterday, Notre Dame rebounded with an impressive win against Stanford as the defense came up big in the second half. In 2 weeks, Notre Dame returns to South Bend to face perennial rival Boston College. That's Boston College versus Notre Dame, presented by Bristol Myers Squibb. In 2 weeks, Saturday, October 23rd, only on NBC. There's the 12 car now behind the wall. They've got some additional work to do because they had a little problem on pit road.
Yeah, when he hammered the wall, I'm sure he did some damage to the drive shaft. Watch the right rear. He goes to leave and just shreds the drive shaft.
Joe Piet said, "We're done. Take it to the garage." Marty?
And they have a new drive shaft out here, BP, and new trailing arms as well. They've got to replace much of the rear end housing of the race car. I asked Ryan if he wanted to talk. He said not right now. He's still in the car with his helmet on. The window net is down. He is communicating with the team, telling them what he thinks happened. But for right now, he does not want to talk to us.
The 25 was the lucky dog. Jamie McMurray, Ricky Rudd, Elliott Sadler, Joe Nemechek, Michael Waltrip, Terry Labonte, Kurt Busch, Jeff Gordon, Matt Kenseth, and Brendan Gaughan did not pit.
You could say that again.
I would, but then we missed the end of the race.
22 cars on the lead lap, so should be interesting to see what happens on this fuel mileage thing, BP.
Basically, the top 10 guys in the running order did not pit. Oh, trouble behind the leaders.
Jimmy Johnson.
Jimmy Johnson, another championship contender across the track to the inside on the grass. Heavy damage. Again for the 48. Trouble in the chase.
Jimmy, talk to us, bud.
Pretty mad right now.
I don't want to talk right now.
You see him moving around. Caution is out.
Got it in gear.
Yep, going to try and drive it back. There's Chad Knaus, his crew chief to the far left, just, I'm sure, climbing down on the other side of that.
Because they're going to go back in the garage area and try to work on this car.
Looks like it just come out from under him, Chad.
Chris Osborne, the spotter, telling him his viewpoint.
There's Chad.
Pretty dejected right there.
So disappointed.
That really leaves them in desperate straits in the chase for the championship.
I don't know that Chad is so disappointed at the crash. I think he's disappointed at the fact they didn't run well today and then follow that up with a crash.
I think he's probably pretty disappointed about the crash.
I don't think so.
I think you're right.
Take a look.
Up there on the high side, he just gets a little bit loose.
Oh, and Mark Martin just somehow squeezes by.
Wow. Here's another look.
Tony Stewart.
Bobby Labonte.
All get by. Who was that goes down through the grass? Oh, it was Casey Kane, wasn't it?
Yep, and another one right behind him.
Ryan Vickers. Man.
Watch, Mark's got a pretty good seat from here. There's Jimmy Johnson up on the high side. This looks like he gets loose and gets in them marbles a little bit.
Wow.
Clear.
I did the same thing.
Yellow's out. Yep.
Mark Martin dodged one. The 48 car back in the garage. Jimmy Johnson okay, but the team frustrated. Caution is out once again at Kansas. The leaders have just taken the green flag here at Kansas. 50 laps to go. Jamie McMurray is the leader, followed by Ricky Rudd, Elliott Sadler, Joe Nemechek, and Terry Labonte.
Here comes Rusty Wallace, that 2-car, a couple laps down. Trying to get by the leader. Looks like he might. But that might open the door for the 21 car of Ricky Rudd.
And McMurray told his crew just a few moments ago that he believes the 21 is a little better race car right now than he is. Dave, how about that 21 car?
It's working great right now. Working great right now, guys. I'll get back to you in a minute.
Wow, a lot going on. Dave is on a mission.
That pretty much
McMurray with a little bottle. Yeah, he did. Go back later. We'll just figure name other line. That is so much fun down there working in the pits when you've got one story going and then you got another one that's on the air.
I thought you guys just sat around eating ice cream.
No, that's, and I now know that's what happens up here.
And right now, it looks like the 38 car of Elliott Sadler might be a little bit faster than any of them.
And this is how you try and stay in the championship chase. In the box, you can see the 48 crew trying to make repairs to that car so they can get as many points as possible, Marty.
Yeah, Bill, a lot of work to do to the front end of the 48 car. They have taken much of the front end of the car off. They did have an entire piece ready, entire front fascia ready to put on the 48 car, but Chad Canal said, we don't need that. Just cut the fenders off right now. Let's get as many laps as we can. Jimmy's still sitting in the race car quietly. This is a team that has finished 11th, 10th, and 37th in the first 3 chase races. They did not need this today.
When you talk about the guys in the chase for the championship, Jamie McMurray, the race leader, is also in that race for that 11th spot, which has a $1 million payoff in New York at the end of the season.
Kurt Busch, we see, has a 36-point lead on Earnhardt as they run. Busch is currently shown in 7th and Earnhardt back in 12th.
And Jeremy Mayfield has slipped to 278 points behind, but look at Johnson, 237, and Newman has had trouble.
Took a hit too, yeah. Pretty good race going on right here.
See, the battle for 11th spot we talked about. Jamie McMurray has right now a 137-point lead on Jarrett.
Casey Kane is running 18th, and his day was way up here. Now it's kind of like way down here. But we got 45 to go. Kurt Busch has not been an error-free day for him either.
Well, he spun over turn 2, about the same spot that Jimmy Johnson in the 48 spun, but luckily Kurt Busch avoided the wall.
The top 10 drivers running here did not pit under the last caution. Here's a mess. Jeremy Mayfield in the 19. Earnhardt in the 8.
Bill Jarrett, this is all for position right there, too.
Brendan Gaughan in the 77 is 14th. Looking at the back of Mayfield. Thinking about 3 wide. Yeah. Now they're going 3 wide. Jimmy Spencer, the pinball.
Yahoo. Brendan Gaughan really drove down in there pretty hard and got the spot.
He's got a pretty good race car, the 77. He was the fastest car in happy hour the last practice session yesterday morning.
And that 30 of Jeff Burton behind the 88 is also on the lead lap. Burton running 15th. There's Jeff. Talk about a guy that could use a good finish. McMurray still continues to lead. Take a look at your Little Debbie lap leaders.
Has led 72 laps, huh? Biffle just 64, and Kane 39. We talked about Casey Kane, such a good race car. Right now he's showing in 16th position.
But Kane is one of the drivers that stopped to top off at 2:02.
And I think the farthest up in the field now, those cars that stopped is Biffle. He's currently running in 9th position. Battle for the lead. Look at Ricky Rudd, the 21 go.
And he pull it up. No, 42 car goes in deeper. Normally, if you're on the high side, you can go in a little bit deeper. Now, 38, he gets in there. He's going to mess up the air. And yeah. Actually, 38 really helped push the 42 up there.
Sure did. By slowing up the 21, too, right?
Yeah. So, got the spot. Who's that? Nemechek. Nemechek back in the hunt there. Taking over the spot. Row 1, U.S. Army car takes 3rd spot.
The winner yesterday in the Busch race here at Kansas.
Also the fastest qualifier for this Banquet 400.
Started on the pole. Dave, you got an update on Ricky Rudd?
Well, here's one of the reasons why he's charging so hard. A challenge from crew chief Fatback McSwain during the last caution. He said to his driver, remember back in '99 when you said, give me a smell and I'll do the rest? He said, you got a smell now. That was when they were going to restart second. I asked Michael what he was referring to, and he said, when he hired me back in '99. They had a good run together. They disbanded for a couple of years. Now they're back and trying to win their first race since getting back together following the Bristol race this year, guys.
Dave, thanks for taking the call, by the way. I got a feeling he was talking to Fatback when we were trying to tell him to get the story.
Man, look at how that 42 car, he was wiggling all through turns 1 and 2. Looked like he was on the verge of losing control enough so that he lost the lead to the 38 car of Sadler. 2nd spot to Nemechek.
And here comes Rudd.
He's going to catch his breath here for a minute.
Yeah.
New leader, Elliott Sadler. Sadler, upside down at Talladega last week, on top of Kansas today. Marty.
Well, the reason Jamie McMurray lost all those positions, Bill, is because his car is loose. It's been loose for most of the day. They really haven't been able to tighten up like Jamie would like. That's why he's back and forth and lost lead. And another battle for the lead.
About it. Front row Joe to the front in the 01 car.
How about that? Going for the sweep at Kansas.
Oh, he gets a little bit loose and crosses over.
I'm liking this place more and more.
I'm telling you, turn it into a very, very fun racetrack. He got loose. He slid up the racetrack, and Elliott Sadler turned down underneath him, but hasn't completely pulled it off.
54 races since Nemechek has gone to victory.
Contact there, maybe?
Might have been a little bit.
23 lead changes, ties the record set here last year. And I don't think we're done.
Good racing right there.
Update on Elliott Sadler from Dave Burns.
I talked to crew chief Todd Parrott this morning about their race car. He said, we found something late in the final practice yesterday afternoon. The whole corner, we were tight in and loose off. We fixed both of them with what we found late in the day in happy hour yesterday. So far today, they've run in the top 10 almost all day long, guys.
Thank you, sir.
And Jimmy Johnson, the 48 car, has repairs made on the car. He's going back on the racetrack. There you see him going down pit road.
Jimmy is currently scored 31st. He is 5 laps behind Ward Burton and 12 laps behind Jeff Green. Possible points for the 48 to pick up. Only has 35 laps to do it.
And I don't think he's going to catch them on the racetrack and pass them. He's going to have to hope somebody goes out in front of him.
That's right. 18 laps down to the leader, Johnson is.
There's Kurt Busch, the 97. We've been watching this great battle for the lead. The 97, 16, they are coming. They're very fast, faster than the leaders right now. Dave Burns, what about this 97 car?
Well, they restarted 7th, so they've already picked up a couple of spots. And remember all the changes they've been making to that chassis as the day goes on. It always starts loose and gets tight. The last time they took a spring rubber out of the left rear, made an air pressure adjustment on both right side tires to try to get it good for Kurt. And he's as fast as he's been all day. Look at him. He was the fastest on that lap, guys.
Yes, he is. He's just hooking that bottom.
But he last pitted on lap 198. Ooh. And the question is, can they make it? Dave Burns.
When I checked with crew chief Jimmy Fennick before we got all of these caution laps, he said we were close. So therefore, extrapolate that out, it should be good to go.
What was that word?
Yeah.
I have no idea.
Extrapolate, I'll explain it later.
More on the leader from Matt.
And they're waving the towels, cheering Joe Nemechek on, trying for the weekend sweep. And believe it or not, the car number 01 has never gone to victory lane, going all the way back to 1949. Joe is trying to save that right front tire because he knows this race is not over till lap 267. And these guys are coming up. They knows it. He can see him in the mirror.
Tell you what, Ricky Rudd's not saving his right front tire. He's going.
Takes over second spot from Elliott Sadler.
Ricky Rudd last pitted on lap 198. Can those guys make it? Can Nemechek hold on and sweep at Kansas? The conclusion is coming up. Trouble here at Kansas. Casey Kane has just spun. The caution is out.
See that damage spot? See that damage to the left rear? Does that mean that make contact with someone?
That could. That's a good possibility.
And this removes all doubt about who can make it, and the big question now is who will pit and what will they do?
And this is what really Biffle needed, and this is what Kurt Busch needed, because I don't think they were going to be able to catch those guys up front.
They might have been just too far away. Let's see if...
Michael Waltrip on the outside.
Yeah, he just got loose. 9 car just got loose. He was too close to the 15 of Michael Waltrip. He lost the air off the spoiler, got loose.
And the 17 car, he was already crashed when the 17 car, I think, hit him in the left rear.
As Wally said, Casey Kane was running 10th at the time.
Yeah, he just, as Wally said, did not have enough room to let the car come up the racetrack.
And where did that happen?
Off of turn 2.
Somebody talked about that before the race.
Find that guy.
That would be Wally D.
It looks like he did not do too much damage to the front air dam of the car, which is a good thing.
Yeah, that is a good thing.
Robbie Gordon will be the lucky dog. Joe Nemechek is the race leader. The pace car has the field.
Well, you're going to see a lot of guys coming for tires now.
Yes.
Yep. We got
Earnhardt Jr.
coming. Mark Martin's in too.
Marty.
Yeah, Dale Earnhardt Jr. said that last change we made just didn't help the car, guys. We've got to do something with the chassis right here and 4 tires. Why not? They took 2 at the end of the race last week at Talladega, and they're going to make the wedge adjustment for the track bar adjustment for Dale Earnhardt Jr. a little too loose at the beginning of the run. 2 tires for Mark Martin. Same situation. It took too long for his car to come in. They opt though for 4 tires and a good quick stop for the 6-punch. Matt.
And they are still trying to work on the 20 car. Tony Stewart, the car is just horribly tight. Chassis adjustment, tires on. They're going to give it one more shot to try to dial this race car in.
Well, those new tires could mean something, BP.
They could. They could sure mean something.
25 laps left. That's enough to, boy, tires make a big difference on this racetrack, new tires, so we'll see.
And this will definitely change the complexion. The commercial we were in, we'll go back to that because we broke out when something happened. Hey, what's the next big thing in television? The Biggest Loser, coming to NBC a week from Tuesday, where the big winner is the big loser.
Takes a lot of guts to be on that show.
Oh, you're not. No pun intended, I'm sure. Matt, what do you got down there?
They started in the pole, and that's where they're running right now. Are you good on fuel now?
Well, I mean, we should be good on fuel, but those were awful fast lap times they were running there, that whole group, and about half a second quicker than most guys been running all day, and it just uses more fuel like that. So we're going to keep our fingers crossed and get our rally rags out here and keep our fingers crossed. Did I mention we're going to keep our fingers crossed?
I think you mentioned that. By the way, you might want to keep your fingers crossed.
Yeah, we'll do that.
So they'll be keeping their fingers crossed.
I think so.
So they stopped at 198. They had to run 69 laps.
Yep.
Is that right?
Yep.
Okay.
23 to go. Joe Nemechek brings the field to the green flag.
Green flag, green flag.
And he won't be conserving fuel.
No.
Ricky Rudd.
Oh, Rudd.
He cut it awfully close.
Can he save it?
Man, oh man.
He went down. He thought he was clear, and he wasn't clear. Boy, I'll tell you what, he did a good job hanging on to that thing.
Man. And some guys bobbing around behind him. Rudd in the 21.
That is what you call a moment.
Well, McMurray looked like he lost his momentum in the 42. Ricky to the outside up against the wall.
And I tell you what,
Shane Neal pushed to the apron.
that allowed the 01 car of Nemechek to get a terrific jump on these guys.
They are really scrambling back there.
And they
About
are.
2 seconds, BP. And he's got over Ricky Rudd right now, a little bit more even.
And some lap cars between them.
Sometimes you just need to be a little bit lucky.
Yeah, you cross your fingers, that helps,
That's right.
Kurt Busch, 97 car, is going by McMurray for 4th spot. Here comes Biffle trying to do the same thing, the 16.
Update from Marty.
Raindrops starting to fall, Bill, here in the infield, so that could play a factor before this thing gets the checkered flag.
20 to go.
Well, that was Joe Nemechek was turning some pretty fast laps there too, so he's out front for a reason. He's fast.
He's like way out front.
He's got all that clean air, and we talked about that a lot today. Let me tell you something. That's real important, right now too, because ooh, did you see that?
She just picked up something on the grill.
But that's probably closed down there. The bottom is closed, so that won't affect. Although it is over the left front a little bit of the opening.
Looks like a windshield tear off.
Yeah, look at that. See, it is blocking part of it.
Yep, it sure is.
But I think the temperatures are cool enough. I don't think that's going to hurt him.
Nemechek to the line. 18 to go. Last one in Richmond, May of 2003.
Bill, We haven't done it all day. It's time.
Okay.
Go ahead.
I watched the commercial last night. I thought of you. Cue the duck.
Cue the duck. There he is. Our Aflac trivia question: who are the only drivers to finish in the top 5 in all 3 Kansas NASCAR Nextel Cup races?
Well, Jeff Gordon, Ryan Newman are 2.
How many drivers are there?
Trouble! Robbie Gordon. This is in the tri-oval on the front stretch. Caution is out.
Oh, Nemechek did not.
I think I popped the right rear tire again.
I think your tires are... Oh, boy, you're right. He did not need that.
Man.
He was loving that restart.
A 2-second...
Okay, obviously.
A 2-second lead with 17 laps to go.
Yeah, I definitely had a right rear tire going down.
Left front looks like it's flat, Robbie.
There's the 12 car of Ryan Newman. He has returned to the track. 33rd in the scoring order, 40 laps down. Let's see what we can see on this replay. You can see that Robbie Gordon's got a problem.
And Mark Martin somehow,
again,
just drives into the smoke. And
didn't Robbie have some trouble up there yesterday in the Busch race?
Yes, he did.
Turn forward there.
Wow, gosh.
Yeah, that was really close for the 6th car of Mark Martin.
This is the one I want to see. On board with Mark.
And he's not going to see much.
Robbie just got up in the loose stuff is all that happened. I mean, that's what it looks like. He was up in the marbles.
And here's how it feels to be Robbie.
He just got in that loose marbles. Get a little bit high, get the right side in that marbles, and ouch.
This is Ryan Pemberton, crew chief for Joe Nemechek.
No, man, I had a 2-second lead. They're not going to catch me. Man.
Benny, the car number 01 has never won, and the guy you were just seeing, Ryan Pemberton, has never won as a crew chief in Nextel Cup either. No wonder he was upset.
Yes, I agree. Man.
Well, Mark Martin hits the pits again.
He might have run, maybe he ran over something.
I think they're just adjusting.
Yeah.
They got a shootout here.
I think he might think it's safer in there the way it's been out on the track today. Marty on the 6.
Yeah, really, I think it is safer on pit road. He's going to change 4 tires again. Did not like that set of tires. They will put 4 new ones on. They're trying to make it so that Mark's car obviously comes in quicker with the few amount of laps that we do have left. So they're making adjustments, trying to help that out. Remember, it's taken a long time for his car to get better today.
Thank you, Marty. Rusty Wallace in the Miller Lite Dodge, the lucky dog. He gets back on the lead lap. Joe Nemechek leads. Just 15 to go, and the rain's coming to Kansas. Back at Kansas, this is the last restart a few moments ago.
Yeah, watch Ricky Rudd. He's the 2nd car up in the high line. They get a start, and he thinks he's cleared of Scott Riggs in the car below as he'll duck down in front of him, and he gets hooked. Turns him down on the apron and does a great job saving it, but now let's see if we can do this clean.
Pace car is off. Waiting. Green flag is out. Good start by Elliott Sadler right on the bumper of Nemechek.
Again, you got to be careful you don't get wheel spin on these restarts because you've got some heat in the tires, so when you go to stand on the throttle, sometimes you get wheel spin.
And this time, Nemechek does not benefit from the Rudd incident.
Well, he's still got a pretty good restart,
yes, he did. You're right.
White car this time, the 23 is Shane Neal.
And the guys that I think are really, really fast, like Kyle Busch and those guys, they still have some cars they have to pass, while Nemechek is in the lead and he's got open racetrack in front of him.
Meanwhile, Biffle, the 16 car, is trying to get by Kurt Busch, and he does back there for that position. But again, I think you're right. Too little too late. 12 laps to go. And a lot of lap cars in front of Biffle.
Yeah, he's going to have to get by these cars in a hurry to even run down Joe. And then he got to pass Joe. And then he got Elliott Sadler and Rudd up there, too.
And we know he can't ruffle Nemechek up as he gets to him because he's, as he told us yesterday, riding home with him this afternoon after the race.
Nemechek won here yesterday. A lap and a half ago in the Busch race, made contact with race leader Tony Stewart. Stewart ended up on the wall. Nemechek went on to win a green-white checker finish, beating Biffle by a nose.
And Nemechek now is pulling away from Elliott Sadler in the 38 car.
Started from the pole.
Last lap, the 01 car ran his fastest lap of the day. Last lap, Matt.
10 to go.
BP with Joe Nemechek won yesterday's Busch Series race. It was the first time he'd gone to victory lane in that series since June of 2003. He hasn't gone to victory lane in this series since May of 2003. 54 races ago. The car just a tick on the tight side, trying to hold on for the victory.
If that car's a little bit tight, he's in the right spot. That's out front.
And that piece of cellophane or whatever it was is gone as well. Second place car is Elliott Sadler. Dave's been with him all day.
And he radioed on lap 236 way back a few laps ago, guys, that his car was too tight. So behind Nemechek, that's not a good condition.
And on the 16 of Greg Biffle, Marty Snyder.
The biggest problem for him, Bill, is the lap traffic. He was very upset trying to get through some of those lap cars. He has now cleared them, trying to track down Ricky Rudd. One problem for the 16 Busch, Greg saying the engine not performing as well as it was earlier in the race. The driver says the motor is laying down.
It is single file for the first 7 or 8, but there is a stack up behind him. Jamie McMurray right in that pack with Earnhardt Jr. and Jimmy Spencer and Dale Jarrett. Not the day that the 8 bunch has been hoping for, although a top 10 here at Kansas they might consider pretty good.
Currently running the 8th position as Jarrett tries to get him by. Marty, about this 8 car?
Remember, BP, they took the 2 tires a while ago on lap 242, I believe it was. They went down on the track bar. Junior said that helped. That's about all we had right there, though. Car starting to get too tight for Junior.
Less than 7 laps to go for Joe Nemechek. Sadler 1.1
second place is
yeah.
gonna get changed here. There he goes, Ricky Rudd underneath Elliott Sadler in the 38 car.
What a terrific run today for Ricky Rudd.
And there's nothing Elliott can do. When your car's pushing like that, you're doing everything you can to not hit the wall. So there wasn't a whole lot he could do against Ricky Rudd.
And you know what? Ricky Rudd might have had a shot in winning this race today, but not for that contact going down in turn 1.
5.5 to go. That Rudd and Michael McSwain combination is working. Driver and crew chief reunited.
Give me something to smell, I think was the thing. Well, you know what? Smell the front.
Yeah, you know
that's what you're trying to do.
Yeah, he can see the front too. Kurt Busch in the 97, Mayfield in the 19, a couple of contenders in the chase for the Cup.
And that's 5 points, and Kurt Busch does not want to lose.
Ricky Rudd had the fastest lap last time, trying to run down Nemechek with under 5 to go. On the 19, Marty.
Key pit stop for those guys back on lap 242, Bill. They took 4 tires. Jeremy, before that stop, said Kenny to his crew chief, Kenny Francis, this is the worst the car has been all day long. In 6th right now, trying to get 5th from Kurt Busch. Good call to come down pit road and make 4 tires and a chassis adjustment.
Hey, what? Ricky Rudd is flying right now.
4/10.
He's only a 6/10 of a second behind Nemechek. He is closing.
And when you're in second place and you're winding down and you can see the driver in front of you and you're catching him a little bit, let me tell you something. Your adrenaline starts pumping and you start driving that car harder than you've ever driven it before. And that's what Ricky's doing right now.
Black flag for the 48 of Jimmy Johnson. Too slow. Dave on the 21.
Let's see which move he makes, because before the green came out, his crew chief Fatback McSwain said the outside's been working really good for you. He passed the 38 on the inside. Maybe both are working.
3 to go.
And he's getting him. He's going to catch him. There's no question about it. And if he's working good on the bottom, the best thing he can do is get the 01 of Joe Nemechek loose.
Rudd was faster last time. 0.2 of a second.
But as he gets closer to this 01 car, that aerodynamics will come into play.
And that will work for Joe, because that air that Joe's messing up right now is going to hurt the 21 car a little bit. That will make the 21 car not turn as well.
2 laps to go.
If he can get low, it looks like he's low enough. If he can stay there.
Nemechek.
If he can stay down there, he's going to get air on the car. Here he comes for the lead.
Just the opposite of the situation Nemechek was in yesterday. He was coming.
Whoa, Joe drives it down in really hard into turn 3. See if he can hold it. If he's got to get on the gas. He picks up the gas pretty good.
Coming out of turn 4. White flag this time.
Yeah, this is good stuff right here.
Man, it is.
Mile and a half to go.
Now watch Joe. Joe should be able to drive it way in deep here. If the car doesn't slide up the racetrack too much, he'll be able to hold it and then run side by side down the backstretch.
Joe Nemechek's story is well known. Lost his brother John in a Craftsman truck racing accident in Homestead when Joe was competing in Las Vegas. His family encouraged him to continue racing.
Oh, here comes Rudd. He's got to run, but Nemechek will mirror block him now.
Rudd is a veteran to the apron, but it's Nemechek with the win at Kansas.
That was a good race.
Man, terrific battle there at the end. Wow. Ryan Pemberton, you have won a race.
And Ryan won't be able to jump around and celebrate because he has a very bad back. Painful back. So Nemechek with the sweep.
It's good for the U.S. Army guys, isn't it? A lot of those guys are watching the race.
Be careful on him.
Pete Knight.
We talked about Pete a few weeks ago, right?
Alan's a card-carrying member of the Pete Wright fan club. Matt?
BP, he has finally made his way out of that mosh pit. Ryan, your first win as a crew chief, and boy, you couldn't ask for any more dramatic finish than that.
Man, I'm emotionally drained right this minute. All those cautions and running out of gas and almost. He's probably out of gas right now. I don't even think he can do a burnout. That's man. Joe's been he's been really on it. His team deserves. I really would have thought we'd had a win long before this. The way this team's been running, we just couldn't quite get those finishes, and here we put it all together, man. Great qualifying effort by Joe. Man, I can't say enough about this team. It's a lot of fun.
The last 2 years, this team has really gone through a lot.
Oh man, I can't even express how much this team's gone through, and you know, the whole being backed up by the Army here. I don't even know what to say. I'm all lost for words. You know, this is for all the troops.
And Ryan's brother Roman is a spotter for the 01 car.
This is going to be a popular victory on pit road. It really is.
Thanks, man. That's awesome.
This is his reaction as his car and his driver take the checkered flag.
That's why we work 60, 70 hours a week.
Jerry Nadeau was in this car, was critically injured in a crash in Richmond. They went through a couple of different drivers, got Joe Nemechek in the car. So Nemechek will take his team and Jerry Nadeau, who I'm sure is watching, to victory lane. Our Chevy winning moment. Chevrolet congratulates Joe Nemechek and the 01 Monte Carlo on today's big win. No one has dominated Cup racing like the defending manufacturer's champion. Chevrolet, an American revolution. Joe making some revolutions down there.
Still got plenty of fuel.
There's Andrea, Joe's wife. Great family too, the Nemecheks. All very good people.
The smallest Nemechek.
I don't think. There's the meeting of crew chief and driver on pit road. You can walk past Andrea Nemechek any time of the day.
I need that call.
And she will be smiling.
There's John Hunter.
Named after Joe's brother, who, as we mentioned, was lost in a crash a few years ago in Homestead. And you talk about nice guys, boy. John Nemechek.
Yeah, swept the weekend, didn't he? Had a good weekend at Kansas.
Yes.
I hope Joe's mother, Martha, is here.
No, I'm sure she's here.
The Army is in victory lane. I think this might be a pretty big celebration.
Usually Martha has the Army duds on.
Yes.
Yeah, she's camouflage.
There's Joe.
Congratulations, Joe. All right. Oh, yeah.
Won yesterday. Obviously some controversy involved after the contact with Tony Stewart.
Whenever you win, Joe. I'm
coming out. Joe Nemechek Nemechek celebrates victory in Kansas, and Dave Burns is in victory lane with him.
And you know, it almost rained earlier. Now it's soaking down here in victory lane, but not with rain showers. Gatorade everywhere, and Joe Nemechek, just look at this. Talk about a happy bunch. Joe. Joe, getting a big hug from car owner Jay Fry. And Joe, tell us about that, the Kansas sweep for your team this year. Hey, John Hunter.
Oh my gosh, incredible day. Oh, what a day for the Army, Chevrolet, Valvoline, Centrex, Hendrick Motorsports, building our engines. Awesome. Rick, killer motor, man. Thank you very much.
Rick Hendrick stepping in to congratulate Joe as well. Talk about the emotions, Joe, now bringing this team to victory here at Kansas.
This is cool. The sweep at Kansas, who would ever figure? Oh, man, I'm so happy. I was trying to save gas there at the end, and I had them tighten it up that last run. I was a little bit too free most of the runs before that, and they got it tight, and I'm like, man, I'm a little bit too tight, but I drove to the lead. And they're like, save gas, save gas, save gas. And there at the end, I was trying to save gas, and here come Ricky Rudd out of nowhere. I was like, holy moly. And then I had to get back on it, and he got up beside me one time, and I wasn't going to let it happen. I come too close yesterday. This is just an incredible day. I just got to say thank you to all the troops overseas. Everyone, awesome. This is a cool experience for myself, representing the Army. Incredible. Thank you.
Joe, I see Andrea here, baby Kennedy, John Hunter. Where's Mom today?
Well, my daughter Blair. Mom was supposed to come up. She was going to try coming up on race day, and she didn't make it up. But they just got back from Florida. They've been and say hello, Mom, Dad, Grandpa, Marty's, Mark, all the nieces and nephews. Man, yeah, wish you were here. This is incredible. Incredible.
How much of a factor did yesterday in making the car right for today, Joe?
Well, I think a lot of that definitely helped. I got to thank my Busch crew, Gary Putnam. We talked about a few of the things that I didn't like with my Army car last night.
That's good for a guy with a bad back, huh?
Yeah, that'll fix his back problems. But we talked about it. Ryan and I talked about it last night, and Gary Putman, my Busch crew chief, and him talked, and we changed quite a bit of stuff on the front end of this car to try and make it drive a little better. It was incredible. Incredible day.
Joe Nemechek goes to victory lane, breaking a 54 race drought, guys.
Thank you, Dave. It's a big family moment. And I'm sure Mr. and Mrs. Nemechek are celebrating as well.
Joe and Martha, yes they are. Here we go. Checker flag is in the air.
Joe Nemechek beating Ricky Rudd to the checkers.
Yesterday was even closer than that, believe it or not. Going down the backstretch with a few laps to go, Tony Stewart, the 81 car, leading, and Nemechek and he get together, Tony in the wall. But Nemechek's problem was not over. Biffle in the 60 car almost got him at the line.
And that was Joe yesterday. He apologized for the contact with Tony Stewart. Victory lane activities continue. Let's go down elsewhere in the garage to Matt.
His first top 5 of the season. First off, Ricky, walk us through your great save down on the apron.
Well, I wish I could say it was all me, but I was actually looking out the rearview mirror on the right corner, worried about what was happening behind me, and I didn't see I guess Scott Riggs was a lap down and hit me on the inside corner, and I looked up. I was 90 degrees, it felt like, and I said, "Here's the race, it's over." But I drove me down the flat, and I don't know, it miraculously straightened back up. And then I was worried about running up, wrecking everybody down in turn 1, and it all worked out. I don't know exactly how it all happened, but it all worked out. But it really did. That was probably really handicapped us the rest of the day. Went down across flat, knocked the air dam up a little bit, and we had a great race car. It just needed a few more laps.
But you started to set him up with about 2 laps to go.
Well, I got to him, and I probably showed my hand a little bit too early. He was overdriving this corner down here in turn 3 and 4, and I guess Joe was like me, just really anxious, and he was charging that corner hard, and I could short set my car, let it in there lightly, and then turn under him and drive all power off. And I thought I had him, and then I got under him a couple times, and when I got down under him, my car broke loose. You couldn't see it, but it broke loose, and if I hadn't eased out of the throttle, it would have wrecked both of us, so we didn't need that. So we gave it our best shot and came up short, and congratulations to Joe.
He was 3rd here in 2001, 2nd today. Bill?
Thank you, Matt. Congratulations to Ricky on a great run, and we welcome you to the Nextel post-race report from the Kansas Speedway in Kansas City, Kansas, where Joe Nemechek has taken the Army to victory lane. Dave Burns.
38.
Bill catching up now with Kurt Busch. A sixth-place finish after a spin today, Kurt, and a lot of work on your car to get it right.
Definitely. We came and tested, and it just didn't turn out to be our day. The car was just very nervous in traffic. When we were by ourselves, it was fine, but when we're out in traffic, we couldn't negotiate the corners the same way when we're out in free air. And I'm disgusted with myself for making the same mistake. I spun with Ricky Rudd just behind me, did the same thing at California, same thing at Michigan. We've got to work on getting our car to stick better with fresh tires and still maintain its lap time throughout the run. Thought we did that during our test, but we still have to adjust on it. So good day for our Sharpie Ford, and if you got any other questions, what do you need to know?
Yeah, we got a little time, right? But that didn't have anything to do with the line on the Kansas Speedway. Was that more just what your car was doing at that point?
It just seemed like it was very nervous. It didn't know which tire to drop onto. It didn't use the fronts, it didn't use the rears. It just transferred all around all four tires. And I might have got everybody lost with all that race jargon, but it didn't stick the rear tires when we first started out on a good run. And then as it would run, it would come to and get better. So a good day for our Sharpie Ford, and the way that we bounced back and the way we rebounded from that, really definitely championship caliber. 4 weeks down, 6 to go. We bring the Irwin car back next week, so look for the blue and yellow next week.
You're pretty proud of your team, the way they've operated the first 3 weeks and then to come back today.
This race was similar to Dover in a fashion that we had a good car. It took a while to get to that point, and then it went away. And at Richmond, or Loud, New Hampshire, when we won there, it was a great car in a long run. Talladega is just a plate track. So next week at Charlotte, it's a very rough 1.5 miles, and we hope that we got the stick in the good on the fresh tires and the stick in the good on late tires.
All right, Bill. Kurt Busch just misses his 4th top 5 in the chase.
The stick and the good. Can you guys help us with that?
Hey, it's grip. It means grip.
Take a look at the championship standings. The chase for the Cup after 30 of 36 races. Kurt Busch able to increase his lead to 29 points over Dale Earnhardt Jr. Again, Earnhardt Jr. is appealing the 25-point penalty handed out last week after Talladega.
Elliott Sadler up 4 spots.
Yeah. Jimmy Johnson, the big story here, falling to 247 back. And here's the race for 11th. Jamie McMurray ran up front for quite a bit today.
He finishes in 7th position and now has 82-point lead over McMurray. Matt, who do you have?
BP, I've caught up with Greg Biffle. Top 5, but you're disappointed.
Oh, yeah, we had a great car today. National Guard car was really good. Doug and all the guys just did a fantastic job. You know, it's just lost our track position there on fuel mileage. It's hurting us. You know, our teammate could make it again, and we couldn't. You know, I don't know what it is, but it's unfortunate. We had a great run, and wish Hillman was here for us.
A lot of times that also comes down to driving style, as far as some drivers are left foot breakers and some are right. What about yourself?
Yeah, I'm a left foot breaker, so I use the gas a little bit more probably. I believe Kurt is as well, so we just need to work on our stuff a little bit more. It really hurts to give them up like that, though. We had a car that nobody was going to beat today, and it's just unfortunate, but I'm excited with the top 3 finish. National Guard folks get to see a good race in Iraq tonight.
Now, yesterday you said you had to be nice to Joe Nemechek because you were going to fly home with him. Is that still the case? Because I think he may be here for quite some time.
Yeah, he is. I think I'm going to head to the airport, see if I can find another ride. Just go over there and stick my thumb out, see if I can hitchhike home. My jet's going in for some maintenance, so I'm hitching a ride with Joe. So it's kind of nice hitching rides, but I'm going to have to find another one.
So if anybody sees at the airport a guy with National Guard colors, give him a lift. It's Biff. Marty.
I'll ask Casey Kane, Matt, if he wants to ride. Can you give Greg Biffle a ride home today?
Greg Biffle?
Yeah, he's he needs to ride home. He was riding home with Nemechek. It's going to take too long, so that's the story. No, Doug. Oh, if you had a plane, you would. Okay, good point. We would all give Biffle a ride home if we had. Yeah. Talk about your day, finishing 12th after the spin. That's pretty impressive.
Yeah, not too bad. We just kept loosening the back up, trying to get the front to turn better and to try to keep up with Biffle, you know. And he was the car to beat all day. Him and Mayfield were pretty good. And we just got so loose there. When you're under a car, we were just back and forth sliding and just never. I just lost it, spun out, and we got back to a past a few more cars, but it's tough once you get back there to get back to the front.
Is it frustrating as a driver? We talked about how drivers have to have the car so loose at the beginning of a run to make it work at the end of the run. Is that frustrating to go through?
But not really. If the car's loose and your front's in the racetrack too, you can really control what you got. But if it's loose and your front's not in the racetrack, it's pushing a little bit, then it's a tough car to handle. That's what we had at the end of the race, and so I guess we're happy with 12th.
The 9 boys finished 12th this afternoon.
Casey.
Boy, they had a good car too, didn't they? Both the 9 and the 19 of Jeremy Mayfield. Strong runs today. There's a happy guy, Ricky Rudd in victory lane. I'm sure congratulating Joe Nemechek on his victory here today. Take a look at the results at the bottom of the screen. And as you watch the results a few minutes ago, Marty had a chance to talk to Dale Earnhardt Jr. about his race today.
Dale Earnhardt Jr. finishes 9th today. Tell me about the 2-tire stop there at the end. That seemed to help the car a little bit, Junior.
Yeah, we got up closer to the front. We had a pretty good car all day. It just really could never get there. And yeah, it was a lot of fun racing Jarrett there at the end. He was fast and a good friend, had fun battling for the position. And there's just some guys out there that are a lot better than us. But we ganged on it. We tested hard, and I was hoping it'd pay off, and it paid off. So top 10 finish, we'll take it.
You talk about gaining on it. This was the one race you were worried about, this and Homestead. What does this mean, this race seemed to come out of here with a top 10, Junior?
It means a lot. You know, it means we can really concentrate on Homestead now, and that's going to, I mean, the championship probably be decided there. I don't think you'll get it before then, so got to be great that last race. We're going to work hard to get there.
Very solid day for the 8 team. They finished 9th.
And magically, Dale Jr.'s on the back of this golf cart, but we just talked to him on tape. We'll talk to Dale Jarrett live right now. 8th place finish for you, DJ. How was your day?
Great day. Tough decision that we had to make whether to come get fuel. We elected to come get fuel, hoping that a lot of the others would, but I think if we wouldn't have, we might have had a shot at this thing, but got back in traffic, and it was just difficult no matter how good a car you had to come up through. So we had a great race car, and fun racing like that. Raced Junior hard there at the end, and
he was okay with that?
He was all right. See,
you all right with that?
Super with that.
We had fun, and just wish that would have been for first. I think we had a car capable of winning. Greg Biffle probably had the best car, but we were right there with him.
You and Mike Ford were working every week to try to step this program up. What did you accomplish today in your mind?
Once again, figuring these type of racetracks out, what we need. I think we've got our program very solid here. We can go into next year knowing that this part of our program is very good. Restrictor plate's very good. We've got to work on the short, flat tracks, and we'll be okay.
Dale Jarrett, the 88 and 8th place finish today. And a short time ago, Marty Snyder talked to Matt Kenseth.
Matt Kenseth finishes 17th today, and real quick conversation with Dale Earnhardt Jr. Damage early on pit road. How much did that hurt on the left front fender?
Not much. We just really missed it all day. We just ran bad all day, and we got lapped that one run, and we were able to work and get our lap back, and got back on the lead lap, and then you know, with the 2 cautions ago, we probably should have pitted. Everybody behind us pitted, and we stayed out, and that hurt us. We had to pit with 13 to go, and just wasn't time to get back up there. But just didn't have a good car. We just weren't balanced all day. It was just really, really difficult to drive, and just couldn't keep up.
Matt finishes 17th.
Standing by and just getting ready for Jeremy Mayfield here. One of the guys who led laps today and had a great top 5 finish for Jeremy. It's been a struggle for him in the top 10 in the chase for the championship coming into today. He was a solid 10th, and we'll get him in just a minute. And let's go to Matt right now.
And Bobby Labonte, a solid top 20 finish. 16th, Bobby. How would you sum up this day?
Well, I think we gained on some stuff, but it wasn't quite what we wanted. Obviously, we started up 5th, and we slid back pretty fast and got lapped down, got it back without using the lucky dog, and we just hung on there, and we made some changes and got the car better. And, we could just kind of accelerate a little bit, but then we just couldn't go any faster than that. So we kind of stuck in a certain speed, and that's where we're at right now.
Coming up to some traditionally good Bobby Labonte type racetracks. Lowe's Motor Speedway, we've got Atlanta coming up. Do you feel like this team is starting to make that turn?
Well, I kind of think so. I think we were underneath the bowling ball for a while, and we were getting squished by it. Now I think the bowling ball's moving, and I think we're on the upside of it. So hopefully we'll be, we'll keep turning and going uphill. But it's been tough, no doubt about it, and it stinks. But hey, you got to work hard and keep going and keep digging, and hopefully we'll make those racetracks that have been good to us before and keep doing it again.
Thanks, Bobby.
Yep, thank you.
To Marty Snyder.
And Jeff Gordon finishes 13th today, and I looked up on the board. You restarted 8th there. What happened on that last run?
Well, we actually had a pretty good restart, but you know, whatever happened there going into one, you know, bottled all them guys up and got some of those guys that were you know, had gotten tires, got them ahead of us, and then the last restart we just got all we could, but you know, it was a tough day for us. We didn't do ourselves any favors coming from 30th. Friday was you know, got us behind, and you know, we're just going to keep on digging. We're fortunate to be 79 or whatever points out we are right now, and to come home 13th. It could have been a lot worse, and you know, this is notoriously one of our better tracks, and we should have run better in this, and we're planning on running better next week at Charlotte.
A couple of things. You guys left the wrench in that early pit stop, and then all day long you were loose in, tight in the middle, loose off. Seemed like you never got that fixed, did you?
Yeah, we never did. You know, I just never was comfortable all day long. The track, you know, was definitely tricky today. There's a few guys that really hit it, but I saw a lot of guys struggling with it, and we certainly did, and never really could get it where we wanted it to. As soon as we, you know, tighten it up in one spot, it, you know, it'd still stay loose in another, and it was a handful. But you know, I'm just proud of these guys. They worked hard. They never gave up on it. You know, it was frustrating, and we almost pulled off a top 10, and you know, come home 13th and didn't lose too much.
Jeff Gordon, third place man in the championship. Dave?
Marty, if you wonder where we've gone, yes, we've gone to the dogs.
Is that the lucky dog?
Hi, Izzy. Yeah, this is a very lucky dog because they belong to Shayna and Jeremy. That's Izzy, and this is Maddie, and this, of course, is Jeremy. Top 5 finish for you. Led laps today. Where'd the car go, though?
Well, we were pretty good, you know, all the way up to the end, and we had to come in and pit for gas with Biffle and the rest of us, and maybe could have stayed out and made it, but wasn't sure we didn't want to take a chance. You know, we had a good car and a good run going, had to, you know, just come on with a good finish, and that's what we did.
What, on Kansas today, we kept talking about whether we've got one groove, two grooves. What did you experience today in terms of where you could pass, Jeremy?
I think it was a 2-groove racetrack, sometimes 3, you know, we were 3 wide, so I think it was a great race today. Surely, you know, for the fans it was, just watch them pass and all that stuff, but still, you know, it's just real competitive and real tough, and you got to have track position to, you know, to be there at the end, and that's what we're missing a little bit, but overall, had a good day for us.
You came into the chase for the Cup kind of as the team with nothing to lose, starting as far down as you did. You really haven't made progress in there, Jeremy. How do you look at the rest of the chase now?
Well, we're moving up. I think we're 20 points out of 8th or something like that now, so we just got to continue on what we're doing, and hopefully just, you know, every week get all we can and just let the points fall where they may, and see where we end up at the end. But overall, our Evernham Motorsports Dodges are running good, and that's all we're concerned about, just being good week in and week out, and we still got next year to fire at them pretty hot.
And speaking of week out, next week back to Charlotte, where you had an 8th place finish in May. That's got to be positive for you. It
really is. I'm really excited about getting to Charlotte, you know, and yeah, even today, you know, to come here and run like we did today with our Hemi Dodge, had a new Hemi logo on there, looked pretty good, and to run like that's a good sign for the future. And good thing about it, we feel like we're just now, you know, chipping at the surface, and we've got a long way to go yet.
Good day for Jeremy. Maddie's had enough, and she's going to sleep now. Bill?
Thank you, Dave.
That's 2 Maddies.
Here's a look at the unofficial results from the Banquet 400 at the Kansas Speedway. The drivers in yellow are the 10 men in the chase for the Cup. Elliott Sadler had the best finish of all of them, but Nemechek had the best day, coming home first.
How about Kurt Busch, the leader in the Nextel Cup, spins off turn 2. No one hits him. He comes back to finish 6th.
It's a big day for him.
Another good day for Brendan Gaughan.
I was just going to say, Brendan Gaughan, 10th.
Good job.
Jeff Gordon, 13th. Tony Stewart, 14th. Jeff Burton got himself a 15th place finish.
And Mark Martin, 20th place today with a really good race car.
Yeah, Mark struggled there at the end.
He really did. So the 20th spot today might have taken his chance for the Cup out of being
a reality.
A reality, yes.
Is that what he said?
I think so.
Here are 2 guys that had a difficult day, Jimmy Johnson and Ryan Newman. Hard hits.
You know, all those guys had a difficult day.
Yep. Including those 3. So, well, the dog days of summer are behind us. Jeremy Mayfield and his team have their work ahead of them. Joe Nemechek takes the U.S. Army to victory lane. The burnout celebration. We'll take a break and an update desk from New York coming up.